Hey everybody, welcome to the Late Horror Show. I am Dino, and we are on stream number 3 of Pantasy set 85013, The Bakery. The Bakery. I am going to show you my progress. First, hello Connie Clary. As always, we are doing this live builds. Harry Scott, what is going on? Hi boy, donuts to you. Horror Junkie for Life, thank you for the $2 super chat already. Stay cool, all 96 degrees out currently in my area. Oh my gosh, that is really hot. It got up to that 96 somewhere like that not long ago here. Got the chat up here, ready to go here. Let me tell you guys, again, this is Pantasy, Pantasy. It's just kind of like it's a Lego type company. They build modular buildings and much more. I've got a Victrola that's really cool. I just built a Sherlock Holmes set. Traveling Fools, yo, what's up? Good to see you. Again, going to take a long time for people to get used to me doing this stream a little earlier and doing Lego sets in the bakery, but I continue until I get this done. I'm on the second floor. I did a little bit more last night. Hello, Toon. What's going on? Good to see you. JLR, hugs as always. Hello. Yeah, so let me give you an update. I will show this the best I can. This is the second level. And I love this. I love this bakery, second level with the sign and everything like that. Let me show you the first floor again really quick for those tuning in for the first time. But here's the front of the... and the croissants keep falling out. You see that? Inside, you've got like a counter area with produce and all kinds of other stuff. A kitchen. There's the front with a fountain. There is another, like, I'm going to do an in-depth review of this close-up of all the things. Now I got to put the croissants back. You know, actually I'm not doing it right now. But so far, that's the first floor. I think the back is pretty cool too, with the ladder and the door that goes upstairs to the gym, which I'm going to show you right now. Okay, this is the second floor that I started yesterday in stream number 2. Here we have the bakery. There's a bakery sign. I love the front, how it's done there. And even the side has like a glass panels where you can look out when you're working out. I think that's pretty darn cool. Hello, Andrea. What's going on? Good to see you. And as you look in on here, let me make this bigger so I can make sure you guys are seeing what I see here. You can see it's a gym. It's a gym. And if I turn it, wait, I'm going to try to do this. Right there. Okay. We got steps that's going to go up to the 3rd floor. We've got a weight bench. We've got a exercise bicycle. Can you see that? Exercise bicycle and a treadmill and then a weight rack. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. And then a water machine right there. And in the corner is, let me get it. Come on, turn. It's hard to control this. Okay, come on. There's a punching bag in the corner. See the punching bag? So overall, I think so far, this is a pretty darn cool set, the bakery. So there you go. That's the second floor. And we are going to continue on while we play some, what am I going to play today while I build my stream? Let's see. I am going to play some Murder at Midnight is what I'm going to play. That's what I feel in the mood for. Some Murder at Midnight while we do this. So yeah, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Check the description box below for Pantasy's website if you want to check it out. Again, an overall review and in-depth analysis on every nook and cranny after I build it, which is very soon. I'm already on bag 11 and there's 15 bags and I've done 11. So I think either tomorrow or Monday we should be done with a review of sorts. So So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Thanks everybody for being here as always. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, please, please. Thank you. And again, thank you, Horror Junkie. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to. Oh, I'm not sure about tonight. I'm not sure. I'm not even going to mention what's been going on with the other channel. It happens all the time, and there's sometimes I don't think there's going to be anything done about it, honestly. I hope I'm wrong. But anyways, here we go. Let's do a murder at midnight while I go ahead and build this thing. We will start with the 13th floor. The 13th floor. And I've got my bag 11 right here in front of me, so here we go.
That knife. What are you going to do with that knife?
Well, nothing, Kitty. Nothing at all. I'm just going to cut you open and see if you've got a heart. See, I don't believe you have. And I just want to prove
what a great
how
start.
A body can walk around without one.
Nicky,
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes.
What a great opening to this, right? The 13th floor. That was an awesome opening. Yes, Harry, you are right. You need a gym to work off them extra pounds from the bakery. That is true. That is true. Hey, Broken Prophet, what's going on? Good to see you. We're listening to Murder at Midnight at the 13th floor.
How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in the 13th floor. And now, Murder at Midnight, Tales of Mystery and Terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story by Winifred Wolfe is The 13th Floor.
Hotel corridors scare me late at night. They're too long and too creepy. I'm always afraid the walls, like big, flat, plaster hands, are going to close in on me. I wish somebody was around. No, not anybody. Anybody might be Nicky. And his hands aren't made out of plastic. They're bone and they're blood. And they want to choke the breath out of me. I just better get down this corridor and close the door behind me. I'll lock it and hide under the covers till I turn on the radio and I hear that switch. It was pulled in a little room. And Nicky's dead, full of hot sparks and his big hands hanging like putty. Then I won't have to be afraid anymore. It's what happened tonight, just now. It's making the inside of me all curdled and sour and sick. Even if I live a million more days, I won't forget how I came into that lobby. Just like always. I walked over to the desk. Hi, Joe. What's a good word?
Here. Got a rent statement from the hotel. No letters.
Oh. Certainly it's hot out, isn't it? Sort of muggy and sticky. Think it's gonna rain?
Maybe.
You don't like me very much, do you?
No, not very much. You'll excuse me, I'm quite busy, Miss Owen.
Hey, you're a fresh little punk. I ought to tell the manager. It's a fine way to treat guests who pay their bills. Don't I always pay my rent on time?
Sure. Why not? $5,000 lasts a while if you take care of it.
Ah, you. Hey, wait a second. Hold that elevator.
Sweet dreams, Miss Owen.
I said hold the elevator a second. What's the idea of almost slamming it in my face?
Sorry, Miss Owen.
Yeah, I bet you are. Oh, Mr. Talbot. Evening.
Good evening.
Sure is hot out, wouldn't you say? I was saying to Joe, muggy and sticky.
Yeah.
I was, just at an awful good movie at the Franklin. Tomorrow night they're having Lana Turner. You like Lana Turner?
Very much.
Yeah, me too. A lot of women don't because they're jealous of the way she looks. Me, though, I got blonde hair myself. I was planning to see her tomorrow night. Do you plan to...
Sorry, Miss Owen. I have an appointment tomorrow evening.
Oh. You run the elevator, you fresh punk. That's what you're hired for.
Oh, by the way.
Me?
No, Tommy.
Oh, yes, sir.
Will you let me in with your pass key? I forgot mine.
Yeah, sure thing, Mr. Talbot.
The car stopped and I got out. I was glad to get out.
Your floor.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. That's when it began, right there. The light from the elevator looked like a lot of lemonade, only being poured the wrong way, up instead of down. Hey, I remember thinking that. I'm trying to remember it now. I looked at my watch. It was 2 minutes to midnight. I started down the hall. I'm feeling something's wrong. Don't need to get the jitters for nothing. Everything looked the same. Nothing was any different. My room was at the end of the hall. I took my key out and shoved it in the lock. Nothing. I kept twisting it and pushing it. Against it with my knee. Then, all of a sudden, I looked up and realized what was wrong. The number on the door was 1307, not 1407. Huh. I was on the wrong floor. That was it. That rotten little kid. I'll fix him. I was ready to bet he'd done it on purpose. Then...
Give Nicky a kiss, baby. Aren't you glad to see me?
Nicky.
Come on in. I've been waiting for you a long time. I said come in. I'm getting a draft.
Nicky, let go of my arm. You're hurting me.
Sorry, baby. Maybe I don't know my own strength, huh?
What do you want? How'd you get in here?
One thing at a time. Don't rush me.
What'd you lock the door for?
I don't like interruptions. You never used to either when you were alone with me. Remember, Kitty?
I don't remember nothing.
Yeah, I know. You got a memory like a faucet. You turn it off and on, off and on. Wonderful. Take me, for instance. I have the kind of a memory you can't turn off. Keeps running all the time.
Memory like a
Runs,
faucet.
the hotter it gets. It's so hot now, Kitty, it'll scald you.
Look, Nicky.
I am looking. You're still a nice-looking number, you know. I always did like the way your waist curves and how white your neck is.
You didn't come here to tell me how I look.
Toss your hair over your shoulder like it gets in your way. Go ahead, Kitty. Toss your hair back for Nicky.
What are you trying to do, dangle me on a string?
You're still a good-looking number. I don't look so hot, though, do I? You think maybe I lost a little weight?
Look, Nicky, please.
My face looks
let me...
kind of pasty. That's because you don't get much chance for fresh air sweating what's left of time away in a death cell.
If I scream, the police will come and get you. If you come near me, I'll
You
scream.
won't scream.
No, come one step closer now.
You won't scream because there's not that much sound left in you. It's all frozen and sticking in your throat like an ice cube. Because you're afraid. You're afraid of me. Try screaming, Kitty. You see? What'd I tell you?
Nicky, I can help you. I can hide you here so they won't find you. Then I can help you get away, Nicky. Anywhere you want, I promise.
I asked you before to kiss me. You still haven't, you know.
No, don't come near me, please.
You used to like it. You never used to wait for me to ask you.
Nicky, don't. No.
Sometimes you used to come over to me without me asking. Oh, what's the matter? Do I look as bad as all that? Oh, you afraid I'll get your pretty dress dirty?
Well, you gotta give me a chance. I can explain.
I know I'm not clean. You know, I crawled for a half a mile in the mud until I couldn't hear the dogs chasing me anymore. If I'd known you were going to act like this, I would have said...
You gotta give me a break.
I would have said, Warden, call me a taxi. A nice, clean taxi so I can go see my girl, Kitty Owen. A cheap little squealer who sold me down the river for 5 G's. 5,000 lousy
Leave me
bucks.
alone. Take your hands off me.
Oh, I like to hold your face like this. Such a little face. Such big eyes. Big green eyes like a small tiger. Kitty, kitty. Like a cat. Sly, sneaky cat with long blonde hair. Don't you remember how I used to kiss you like this?
Oh, Nicky, just...
Kiss. Kiss, kiss.
Nicky.
Oh. You act like you do remember.
You remember, too, don't you? You remember how it used to be with us, Nicky? Feel my hair the way it used to. Go on, you like to do it. You said it was soft like silk.
Thought I ate a piece of Lego. No, I'm eating a Werther's Original. It's the caramel with caramel inside. yeah, that's all.
Feel my hair, Nicky. You're not mad at me, are you? I said I was sorry. I went crazy. I didn't know what I was doing. I help you now, Nicky. Come on, run your fingers through my hair.
You lousy little tramp. Don't make me laugh. You crying, huh? Cat crying crocodile tears. Are you crying because you're sorry for me? You're sorry because sooner or later the cops will catch up with me and drag me back and I'll burn to a crisp in the chair, huh? Or you're crying because you know what I'm going to do to you?
Remember how it used to be with us, Nicky?
I know when I broke out they'd find me, but I wanted to say goodbye to you first. I wanted to kiss you. See if it still did the same things to me. I'll tell you something, Kitty. You leave me cold.
That knife. What are you going to do with that knife?
I'm going to cut you open and see if you've got a heart. I don't believe you have. I just want to prove how come a body can walk around without a heart.
No.
Just arms and legs stuck together with nothing to make them run.
I'll get you for this.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Electrocute me first, then take me out and hang me? What's the difference?
I'll tell you, Nicky, how it was. Just let me tell you. After you held up that jewelry store and the old dame was killed, when they put up the $5,000, I went crazy.
Yeah?
Honest, Nicky, I must have been clear out of my head. I've been sorry ever since, but I figured the cops would get you for it anyway, and then I'd be left with nothing. I didn't have a cent.
So you didn't wait. You turned me in yourself.
But I didn't know what I was doing.
I know what I'm doing. I'm going to kill you, Kitty Owen.
It won't help any.
It'll help me.
Stay away from me.
The only prayer is Sam. It should be good for a laugh.
No, please.
Kitty, 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 like a cat.
No.
Yes, Kitty, yes. I'm going to kill you.
I got him. Following me slow like that, he didn't notice when I backed up to the table, picked up the vase. And after I hit him, he didn't know it then either. Just went down looking surprised. I knew he wouldn't be out long, so I bent over and took the key out of his pocket. He moved and made a funny little noise through his lips. Then I stopped breathing altogether. I had the key. I was free. The hall was empty, no one around. I started to run down the narrow little corridor to the 13th floor. I pressed the elevator button, and I waited. Help, that was the only way I could get it. It seemed like hours instead of seconds. Finally, I heard it coming. I felt like I was standing on hot coals. My insides wouldn't stand still. The hand of the clock above the elevator climbed slowly from 5 to 6 and to 7. I was going crazy just standing there. And 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And my heart exploded. My legs were soft, sticky pieces of dough, hardly able to hold my body up. The elevator had stopped at 12, and then went on to 14. 14! Then I remembered that it wasn't going to stop. It couldn't stop. Because in this building, there wasn't any 13th floor.
A man from the death house. And the girl who betrayed him playing cat and mouse on a floor that doesn't exist. The hand of the elevator indicator did not
Keep
stop
dropping
at
stuff.
13, but the hands of the watch on Kitty's wrist have stopped at 12. All ready for murder at midnight. And now, back to Murder at Midnight and the 13th Floor.
13th floor. Yeah, that's where I was, a floor that didn't exist, so how could I get out? How could I get away? What was I going to do? I didn't understand. I didn't understand anything.
Pretty good little slugger, baby.
Nick.
You took so much trouble to unlock the door, you should have taken a little time to lock it again after you.
Don't come after me with that knife. Please, don't. I don't want to die.
You think I did?
Why don't you give me another chance,
What
Nicky?
chance did you give me?
Oh!
Wow. I didn't think you had that in you. Well, why doesn't somebody come, huh? Maybe it's because there isn't anybody besides us. Cozy, huh? Try it again. Go ahead. Try your own again. Maybe you'll have better luck.
He was leaning against the door halfway down the hall, just leaning there and watching me because he knew he had me cornered. And I wasn't cornered. I turned and I ran the other way around the corner and down another hall. I didn't know if I really heard him running after me or if it was just the pounding in my head making the noise. I got to the end of the hall, then I stopped out of breath and looked behind. He wasn't there. No sign of him. I sucked in my breath so even that didn't make any sound. And I listened. I listened to nothing at all because it was so quiet. It was so awful quiet I could hear it. The wall I leaned against was big and flat and gray, and the corners jutted out into the hall like dead fingers. I looked to the right side of me, down the corridor. Like he wasn't there. So I turned my head. I looked at the hall, almost hoping in a way I'd see him and get it over with instead of this wait. I wasn't there either. I tried to squeeze my shoulder blades into the wall so I could hide, but it was hard and cold. It wouldn't move. Nicky, where are you? For the love of heaven, say something so I'll know where you are. Don't just keep standing here. I can't take it. Nicky, I'm sick. My stomach's sick. So am I. Just make some noise. Nicky, where are you? Found myself back at the elevator again. I knew he was around somewhere. Around one of those corners that were jutting out like dead fingers. Wait. The elevator was coming up again. The hand was up.
Why there's
to
a
11.
dog up there?
Had to stop. I pressed the button, threw all my weight against it. And it did. It did. The big door was sliding open, and I was safe.
Going up or down, Kitty Owen? I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Oh, not again. I can't stand.
I'll take you for a
No,
ride.
I won't go.
Well, didn't you ring me? I heard you ring. Come on. Get in. Just the two of us. We'll go for a ride. Only just one of us will come back. I said get in.
All the time he was talking, I was backing away. And then all of a sudden I saw at a door with a bright red sign that said stairway down. My last chance, I almost leaped to it. I opened the door and I flew down the stairs. It wasn't easy with high heels, but even so the sound of it looked like music. Sweet, hot music from a clarinet, because I knew they were taking me down. Faster. I fell a couple of times. I caught myself. I clinging to the banister. I was still there. So I kept running. Suddenly, there I was. I was out on the street again. Now I was really safe. There were always a lot of people on the streets. I didn't see any people, just a big policeman with a red face. Boy, he sure looked good to me. Hey, wait a minute.
Now, take it easy, miss. Don't get excited.
Hey, look, Nicky Carstairs, he's in that hotel. He's after me.
Carstairs?
Sure he
Well,
is.
and who you wanting the kids? It can't be.
Look, he's out, I tell you. I saw him. He wants to kill me.
But Nicky Carstairs is in the death cell. Don't you read the papers?
Hey, I'll have you reported. What kind of a cop are you anyway?
What kind of a woman are you without a heart? just arms and legs stuck together with nothing to make them go.
You're not a policeman. You're Nicky. You're still Nicky. You didn't look like Nicky a second ago. I don't understand. I don't understand.
What's the get-up? How do I look?
Nicky, please, no, not anymore.
I told you we were playing cops and robbers, and this time I'm the cop. And I'm still gonna kill you, Kitty Owen.
It wasn't over yet. I had to run again. My last stronghold. My last hope, the hotel lobby. If there was no one there, I just gave up. I was through. As I ran around the corner, I thought the war had ended all over again because there was confetti coming out of all the windows, so much of it. Falling. The sidewalks were beginning to look like it had been snowing for a long time. I ran over them like a carpet. I ran with my eyes down, and I could see the headlines. Nicky Carstairs in death house, prison break. No one had to tell me this. I ran into the lobby to find people, to tell them where he was. There was no one there either. Only Joe at the desk. Joe?
Home early the night, Miss Owen. Not quite midnight.
Look, Joe, I know you don't like me, but you gotta help me.
Reading the papers about Nicky Carstairs breaking out?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to...
$5,000 should last you a little while if you take care of
Hey,
it.
Joe, he's here. He's in the hotel. He's chasing me.
It's a lot of money. $5,000.
Wants to kill me. You gotta help me.
Sweet dreams, Miss Owen.
He's here. Can't you understand? He's on the 13th floor.
There's no 13th floor in this
He's
building.
there. I tell you, he's...
Sweet dreams, Miss Owen.
I know there wasn't any use arguing, and he wouldn't believe me. Even if he did, he wouldn't help me because he didn't like me.
Going up.
No one would believe me. There was only one thing left for me to do. Lock myself in my room on the 14th floor. Stay there until they caught Nicky. I leaned against the back of the car, crouched in a corner. My eyes closed because I was so tired. I was so tired. Kept thinking of a bed, a big white bed, 3 white sheets to crawl between. And the door was locked.
Sorry to have to bother you about that pass, Tommy. I just forgot to pick mine up at the desk.
Just like a glass of cold water had been thrown on top of me. I opened my eyes. That Talbot guy was in the car again. No. Not again. Still. And he was talking about the pass key the way he had before. No, not before either. Because when I looked at my watch, it was still a minute to midnight. Then I suddenly knew. I was so weak with relief I wanted to cry. Yeah, I heard him say it. Sometimes you can see your whole life pass by in just a second. That lifetime I lived in the elevator, all in my head, was sandwiched in between a couple of floors. It never really happened. It was just that I had been dreading it for months, coming back some night, finding Nicky there waiting for me. My mind had invented a 13th floor, when it never was there at all. And the cop and the newspapers that said Nicky was out. All part of it. That crazy half-dream. Of course he wasn't out. I told myself it was all part of it. I never got out of the elevator. I was there all the time. All the time.
Your floor, Miss Owen.
14?
Sure, 14. Ain't that your floor?
You sure this time, aren't you?
What are you talking about this time?
I mean, never mind. 1401. That was on the first door. I was on the right floor this time. I'm feeling better already. What a fool I'd been. Started to walk down the hall. Then I feeling Talbot and the boy in the elevator was watching me. Wish they shut the door and go on.
Say, Mr. Talbot.
Yes?
Did you read about Nicky Carstairs?
No, what?
He escaped. Got out of the death house.
Is that so?
He's on the loose. Good night, Miss Owen.
Yeah. Hotel corridors scare me. They're too long and too creepy. I'm always afraid the walls like big flat plaster hands are gonna close in. Now I know it was more than just dreading it for weeks. Made me imagine. Nicky was out and after me. Must have known it all along. Had a feeling I wasn't safe. I'm gonna go to my own room. I'll lock the door and hide under the covers till I hear they found him. Took him back. Till I hear he's dead, I won't have to be afraid anymore. Not anymore.
Give Nicky a kiss, baby. Aren't you glad to see me?
The 14th floor this time. A floor that does exist. But the hands of the watch on Kitty's wrist still stand at 12 for... Murder at midnight.
I won't play all the organ music. Don't like the organ music. It just drives me nuts. I can't stand it. It's part of the show, people. Thanks, Harry. Yeah, that's the second story. This is looking pretty darn good, too, man. I held it up to spin it, but again, you will get the full review and close-ups after I'm done. I love the windows, how you can see so clearly into the gym on the top shelf, and I do love that little punching bag that is there. That's pretty cool. You can technically in this one see a lot of what's going on in like the bottom bakery and the gym so far. And now I'm starting on the 3rd floor, and this is kind of a balcony here where I showed you the dog, the table, and the flowers. It's going to be a balcony to the 3rd floor, I think, apartment is what it is. Man, there's a lot of pieces in bag 11. So I'm going to have to push this book back a little bit more, give myself some more room. Because we are on the final level, the 3rd floor. Like I said, I should be done in a couple days here, pretty soon. And then I can hopefully move on to the Orient Express again if it comes here. If it doesn't, if the pieces I ordered don't come here, then I'm going to have to go and do something else. And I've got 5 more modular buildings to do, so there's always plenty to do. Okay, so everything's spread out. Let's see how I can make out with this. Yep, it's part of the show. Murder at Midnight. Yep, exactly. Okay, yeah, so let me make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you're still here, enjoying this or whatever, or just chilling, doing work, listening to Murder at Midnight or whatever. I am going to play The Man with the Black Beard. The Man with the Black Beard. Let's go ahead and play that as I start on the next level, the top floor of the bakery from Pantasy. Here we go.
Murder at midnight.
Let go of me. Let go.
First, I have a little surprise for you. Look there, right in front of you.
Tombstone. 3 of them.
The first one is your mother.
Oh.
The second one is your brother. They're both sleeping soundly under them. And the third one...
It's mine.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength
at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a moment in The Man with the Black Beard.
And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of Mystery and Terror by radio's Masters of the Macabre. Our story by Sigmund Miller is The Man with the Black Beard.
A few minutes before 12 o'clock, midnight, Charles Corbett is sleeping peacefully. But not his wife, Evelyn.
No. No, don't touch me.
There's no use running. You can't get away.
Please. Please let me alone.
You mustn't be afraid, Evelyn.
You. That black beard. I've seen you before.
Of course you've seen me before. Everybody does. Sooner or later.
No. I don't want to see you. And I won't.
Scalpel, please.
What are you doing? You can't operate on me. You can't.
Now, just hold still. After this first incision, you won't feel.
Man, this sounds like an awful nightmare.
Let go of me.
No one's holding you. Get up.
I'm trying to. I can't.
No, Evelyn.
Your face. You're growing a beard.
Yes, Evelyn.
A black beard. You're the man with the black beard who's been following me.
Yes, Evelyn.
No.
I'm afraid you're going to die. The prisoner will rise.
Thanks,
Prisoner.
4VR.
I find you guilty. Guilty of trying to run away from the man with the black beard. You are sentenced to be guillotined.
No. No, please, I didn't do anything wrong.
Step up these stairs, please.
My husband. Let me call my husband.
No time for that. Raise the guillotine.
Please, give me another chance.
You'll only run away again. Head down, please.
No, no, no. Oh, why do you hate me? Why do you want to kill me?
Because you hate me. And for this you must die.
No!
Evelyn!
No,
Evelyn, for heaven's sake, what's the matter, darling?
Charles, help me.
Oh, Evelyn, stop it. Now, you're perfectly safe. Look, darling. Look, you're in bed.
I'm in bed.
Yes.
Oh, Charles.
Oh, what was it, darling? What was it? Was it a bad dream?
Oh, Charles. It was the most dreadful dream I've ever had.
Oh, there.
There was a man with a black beard, and he was trying to kill me.
No, darling.
At first, he was a doctor. He was going to operate on me. And then he tried to guillotine me.
Evelyn.
And the knife was just going down.
Oh,
But you...
poor darling. It's all my fault.
Oh, no. Why is it your fault?
I'm telling you about that latest case of mine, that murder case.
No, Charles. No, I don't think it was that. No, I've dreamed about that man with the black beard before. Charles, it means something.
When did you dream about him before?
I don't know. It was about a month ago.
Oh. Oh, yes. That was when I got my new job. That makes sense.
No, Charles, there's something else. I can't help feeling it. I can't help feeling that I'm going to die.
Don't say that, Evelyn.
No, I feel it in my bones, Charles. I'm certain. I'm going to die. Soon.
Corbett speaking.
Mr. Corbett, I'm glad I got you. Central Hospital's been trying to reach you.
Who?
Central Hospital.
Oh, they must have the wrong Corbett. I don't know anyone there.
Oh, they said it was about your wife.
My what? What about her?
Well, she collapsed on the street, and they brought her into the hospital.
Okay. I'm going right over. Evelyn.
Oh. Hello, Charles.
Oh, darling, what is this? I came right over. What is
Charles.
it?
Charles.
Oh, baby. Please, honey, don't cry. Oh, look, tell me.
Charles.
Huh?
Charles, I saw him.
You saw who?
The man.
What man?
The man with the black beard.
The one you dreamed about last night, you mean?
Yes.
Where?
Well, he was in the street.
In the street?
No, I left the office. I was going out for lunch. And I was just going out of the lobby when I saw him. A man with a black beard.
Oh, now, darling.
I stared at him. I tried to place him. And then I realized that he was the man from my dream. He nodded to me, Charles. I guess I must have fainted.
Well, Evelyn, honey, it can't be the same man. It's just your imagination.
No, Charles, it's not. It was the same man. I remember his face in every detail.
No, I don't see. Well, I guess we have to do something about this, darling. What can we do? Look. Suppose we go to see Dr. Lieber. He should be able to help you.
No. It's no use, Charles. He's after me. The man with the black beard. I'm going to die, Charles. I'm going to die.
Can you describe the man to me, Mrs. Corbett?
Yes, Doctor, I can. He has a long, narrow face, deep-set black eyes, and a black beard.
Had you ever seen him before before you dreamed of him?
No, I don't think so.
And you believe the man you saw in the street and the one you dreamed about are the same?
I know they are.
You say he nodded to you, as if he knew you.
Oh, he knew me, all right. He wants me to die.
You met him twice?
Yes, and both times he nodded.
I can understand your being afraid of him. But I think you also hate him. You do hate him, don't you?
Hate him? Doctor, I could kill him without even thinking twice about it.
I see.
What do you think, Dr. Lieber?
If she did not hate him, the explanation would be simple. She might have seen this man with a black beard before she dreamed of him just passing in the street. And she could have had a nightmare about him. But hate is important. Hating him the way she does, that means he has become a symbol to her.
A symbol? Then you don't believe he's a real person, do you? That he's really threatening me?
Not in the way you mean. What we'll have to do is to find out just what he does stand for.
But, Doctor, I tell you, I know what he stands for. He stands for death.
I'm not going to tell you to forget him, Mrs. Corbett, because you won't. But if you'll come back again tomorrow, well, we'll see if we can't find out a little more about him.
Why, Charles, what are you doing here?
Waiting for you, darling. We're going to have lunch together.
You mean you'd like to take a look at the man with the black beard?
Well, yes. Look, you say you met him right here on the street corner.
Yes, right here. Twice. Oh, Charles, are you doing this because you believe me or because you don't believe me? Or is it because you think I've gone mad?
Oh, my dearest, what a question.
Well, maybe he won't show up today.
Well, then I'll try again.
Yes, and maybe that I can see him, and maybe you can't. Maybe it's just a... Charles.
Huh?
Look.
Where?
There. Coming towards us.
Well, I'll be... Oh, just as you described it.
Then you do see him.
How do you do?
He spoke to me. He never did that before.
He's getting into that car. Hey, you, wait, I want to talk to you.
He isn't paying any attention, Charles. He's driving away.
Can't let him get away. Taxi! Come on. Taxi! Here, inside, Evelyn, quick.
All right.
Where'd you, bud?
Follow that black car. We've got to see where he goes.
Listen, mister, how much longer are we going to keep tailing this guy? We're way outside the city limits.
Yeah. We're going to tail him until we find out where he's going. You haven't lost him, have you?
No, he can't go much further because this road... Hey, he's turning off.
Huh?
Into the cemetery.
What? What did you say?
The Cypress Cemetery. He's going in.
Well, step on it, will you? I've got to catch him.
Don't worry. There's just this one road, and the entrance gate's on the other side of this curve. There's an attendant there. He'll have to stop and show a pass or something. Holy smoke.
He's gone. Hey, stop at that gate, will you?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, we're looking for a big black car that just came through here.
Black car? There hasn't been a car through here for an hour.
You see, Giles, I told you.
Stop it, Evelyn.
I told you.
Stop it. Look, there must have been one. We followed it all the way from town. A man with a black beard was driving it.
Mister, I say there hasn't been a car through here for an hour, with or without a beard.
A man with a black beard and a black car vanishing into thin air at the gates of a cemetery. But then, where would you expect a trail to end that began with a nightmare, a dream of...
Murder at midnight.
And now back to Murder at Midnight and The Man with the Black Beard. We find Evelyn deep in another terrifying encounter with the man who haunts her day and night.
Evelyn.
You again? What are you doing here?
Waiting for you. You were looking for me, remember? You and your husband, right here in the cemetery.
No, I've got to get up. This is just another dream. It's a nightmare.
Is it? Look at me. I'm very real. Here, touch me.
Oh, no. No, you're cold.
Always.
Oh, why don't you leave me alone? Why are you pursuing me?
It's you who are pursuing me.
It's a lie. I hate you.
Naturally. I have a surprise for you.
I don't want to see your surprise. Oh, I've got to wake up. I've got to.
First, you must look at my surprise. Look there, right in front of you.
Tombstones. 3 of them.
The first one is your mother's.
Oh.
The second is your brother's. And the third one, do you recognize that?
It's my own.
Can you read the inscription?
Oh.
It says, Evelyn Corbett, beloved wife. Simple, but dignified.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Now, if you kindly step down into your grave, our business will be finished.
Oh, I won't do it. I won't. I don't want to die.
I'm afraid I must insist.
No, I won't.
This time you can't help yourself, even by waking up. This time in you go.
Evelyn! What are you doing on the floor? What is it?
Oh.
Darling, what's the matter?
It was he again.
Who?
It was the man with the black beard. He threw me into my grave.
Oh, no, darling. You fell off the bed, that's all.
Oh,
Here, darling, let me help you up. Back on the bed. There.
Oh, Charles. Oh, Charles, if this keeps up, I'll go out of my mind.
I know, darling.
Oh, Charles, do something. You just got to do something.
You actually saw him, this man with the black beard, Mr. Corbett?
I certainly did. He looked just as Evelyn described him to.
And he disappeared at the cemetery?
Yes, Doctor, he did.
Well, that isn't so mysterious. He might have gone off on a side road or something like that.
But he didn't, Doctor. He just vanished into thin air.
Mrs. Corbett, I want you to try to remember how many times you've dreamt about him. Now, it's important.
Yes. 3 times.
Are you sure?
Well, I think I am.
When was the last time someone close to you died?
Died. About 6 years ago.
Who was it?
It was my brother. My only brother.
Were you very fond of him?
Yes.
Did you have nightmares then?
Well, Yes, I think so.
Did you dream about the man with the black beard then?
I'm not sure.
Think back.
No, I can't remember. I have a feeling that I did. Only I can't be too certain.
It will come to you. Maybe not now, maybe tomorrow or the day after. Let me know immediately when it does.
I don't get this, Doctor. What has that got to do with the immediate problem?
A great deal, Mr. Corbett.
But the man with the beard is a real person.
No, he isn't. He isn't a real person.
But he was
so
there.
I think he's dead. Hunting for me.
I see. Of course, one way we can prove he's not is to get hold of him. Talk to him.
Well, I'll take that job. I'll find him. And when I do, he's going to do a lot of talking.
She sounds like Judy Garland, Wizard of Oz. Listen to her voice throughout this episode. She sounds like she's, this is the Wizard of Oz or something like that. Chris, welcome, and everybody else. Horror Junkie, yeah, man, I hope it cools off, but you sound like you're making some good stuff there. Yeah, Chris, the second level is done. I'm working on the top floor now. Again, I lifted it up to kind of show you. I'll do it again in a little while, but yeah, it's looking really, really good. The second floor is a gym with a punching bag and everything. It just looks freaking cool. And the third floor is what I'm doing now, so it's getting there. It's overcast and muggy out, just like Johnny Dollar Mystery. Yeah. Well, I should play some Johnny Dollar next time I do this. I just felt like some horror, some weird episodes. Which Murder at Midnight they're weird, nightmarish type episodes. But listen to her voice as she's talking. Ay.
Hello.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes?
Oh, this is the office calling. The boss wants you to investigate a new case.
Yeah.
The body of a Mr. Hampton was found in the river today. He was heavily insured, and they want you to go down to the city morgue to look at the body as soon as possible.
Okay, I'll go down right now. Goodbye. When was that body fished out of the river?
Several hours ago.
Uh-huh. Okay. You can put the sheet back.
So what do you think? Murder, suicide, or accident?
Well, I don't know yet. Hey, there he is. Here.
He? Who?
The man with the black beard. He just walked out of the slab room.
I didn't notice.
Hey, wait a minute.
If she talks again, she will.
He must have taken the elevator. Ring. Oh, got to find that guy. Come on.
Down, Cal. Watch your step.
Did you just take down a man with a black beard?
No, sir.
But you must have. He came out of here just a minute ago.
Well, maybe he walked down. It's only 2 flights.
Oh? Where are the stairs?
Right over there.
Okay, I'll see. Hello, Dr. Lieber?
Yes?
This is Charles Corbett.
Anything wrong?
I just saw the man with the black beard again.
You did? Where?
Down at the morgue.
Did you talk to him?
No, he disappeared. I ran after him, but he just vanished.
That's too bad.
We've got to get a hold of him, Doctor. Perhaps we can meet him at the street corner near my wife's office. She's seen him there several times.
I have a very heavy schedule, but when's the best time?
About 1 o'clock?
I'll be there.
Look, should I have Evelyn come too?
Yes, that might be a good idea.
Good. Maybe we can clear this up today.
Charles, I'm afraid afraid.
There's no reason to be afraid, dear. I'm with you, and Dr. Lieber will be here any minute.
Yes, well, if I see him again, I don't know what'll happen.
Nothing will happen. Believe me, darling. Look, once we talk to him... Here he comes.
Where, Charles?
Right there. Dr. Lieber.
Oh, I thought you... You startled me.
Hello.
I'm glad you could come, Doctor.
And I'm terrified. Doctor, do we have to do this?
It's the quickest way of getting to the bottom of it. What time have we got, Mr. Corbett?
I have 5 to 1.
Yes, it's just about the time he passes by.
I hope he doesn't keep us waiting too long.
Dr. Lieber, really, you've been wonderful about this whole thing. If it hadn't been for you and Charles, I don't...
What is it, Mrs. Corbett? What's the matter?
Look, over there.
Making a toilet.
And he really does have a black beard.
I've got to get away. I've got to get away.
Stay here. Nothing's going to happen to you.
He's coming over here.
Good.
Oh, don't let him touch me. Don't.
Please, Mrs. Corbett.
Good afternoon.
How do you do, sir?
I believe you're the people who are looking for me.
How did you know that?
The guard out at the cemetery told me. He described you and the lady perfectly. Oh, look out.
I got her. Evelyn.
She's fainted.
Evelyn,
You better take her someplace quiet where she can...
My place is just up the street there, a few doors. If it won't bother you too much, we...
Of course not. Show us.
Here we are.
But this is... It says Blakely's funeral parlor.
Yes, I'm Mr. Blakely.
An undertaker?
Yes, a mortician.
Of course. This is finally beginning to make sense. Put it down on the couch there, Corbett.
Makes sense. How?
Do you know Mrs. Corbett, Mr. Blakely?
I've seen her a few times in the street. We seemed to have lunch at about the same time. She stared at me, and I assumed she knew me, so I nodded to her.
You've had no other dealings with her?
Not that I know of, no.
What was your wife's maiden name, Corbett?
Huh? Harper. Why?
Would you look that name up in your files, Mr. Blakely?
Why, yes, of course. Let me see. Hadley, Horton, Harper. Cecilia M. Died January 26, 1926. Buried at...
Why, that was her mother.
And that's the answer. She loved her mother very much.
Very much. Yes, she was only 6 years old at the time, but she always said...
An age of deep feeling, without any real understanding of cause and effect. Her mother died, and Mr. Blakely came and took her away. As a result, she attributed her death to him. He came to represent death to her, and thus became an object of terror and hatred.
But I don't understand. After all these years...
She didn't remember him consciously because she wanted to forget about him. But the subconscious mind never forgives or forgets. She must have seen him in the street without really being aware of it. Then her subconscious mind went to work, started creating those nightmares.
And you think that when we tell her all this and we explain...
I'm sure of it.
Yes, but Doctor, how can we explain the attendant at the cemetery and the guy at the morgue? You know, they said they hadn't seen him.
Now that we know that Mr. Blakely, the bearded man, is an undertaker, a mortician, the explanation is simple. He was such a familiar figure at the cemetery and the morgue that his presence did not quite register on their conscious mind. Just as we never notice our waiter at a restaurant.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, of course. I see.
Now, let me take a look at her. She should be coming to now. Good Lord.
What is it? Doctor, what's the matter?
I don't seem to find any pulse. I'm afraid. The strain and the shock.
You mean... You mean...
I'm afraid she is, Mr. Corbett. After all, when we believe someone to be death, they can be death.
A woman, dead of fear, created in her own mind, lying on a couch in a funeral parlor. The logical place to end a story that began with a nightmare. A terrifying dream of...
Murder at midnight.
Okay, I'll cut out the organ. But yeah, did you guys see the toilet? It's like Lego, and they always try to make a different type of toilet. I like this one. That's a pretty cool toilet. I know it sounds like weird, but it's all those little details inside the buildings that make it kind of really cool looking. Like I'm going to put a roll of toilet paper next to it. I'll show you guys up close to that with that too. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It really is. I like the way they did it. And yeah, the third level's coming along good here. It's going to be like right up there. Apartment, and then the roof, and then the roof, and then we'll be good. So yeah, again, yeah, thumbs up and all that good stuff. Thank you guys. I would never lie on a couch in a funeral parlor. Too creepy. LOL. Yeah, that was a nightmarish type episode, man. That's all I gotta say. Was really, really kind of eerie and spooky. But let me do another one. This one's a little bit different. Another Murder at Midnight. Terror Out of Space. Terror Out of Space. And again, I know we've listened to these before. It's just, I mean, we're going to listen to these over and over again. And eventually we'll, just like the Charlie Chan movies, I've watched those over and over, and over maybe 100 times or over 100 times, but they're still great. Anyways, Terror Out of Space, here we go. And thanks everybody for being here and hanging out for a little while. That was a good story. A little nightmarish kind of hairy, but good. Here we go. Terror Out of Space, as I continue to work on the bathroom, the kitchen, the living room, all that good stuff. Here we go.
Turned and started to walk across the room, and as he turned, Martel moved. His face stayed dead, expressionless, but he moved. He picked up a heavy wrench, followed him, and then as Roy reached for the switch, he hit him. No! I heard his skull go like a rotten pumpkin shell, and he went down. Then Martel picked up a hacksaw and... No, I don't want to remember the rest. It was too awful, too horrible.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest. Our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in Terror Out of Space. Murder at Midnight, Tales of Mystery and Terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story, which we prophesy will be long remembered as a classic, is by Robert Newman. A tale out of the news and out of man's deepest fears called Terror Out of Space.
Can you hear me? You've got to hear me. I haven't got much time. They'll be coming back in a few minutes, and Don, try and get this. Try and remember.
I sat up in bed, straining my ears, listening. The surf was rolling and pounding on the beach at the foot of the cliff. One of the dynamos was purring away next door in the experimentation shack.
At least they put the toilet paper roll on the outside. I hate when it goes on the inside. Pretty cool, though. Look at the toilet paper. Yeah. Anyways. Bathroom. Here we go.
And that was all. Had I really heard anything? Or had I just imagined it, dreamed it? I didn't know. All I knew was that I was in a cold sweat, shivering even though it was a hot summer's night. But that wasn't surprising after what had happened. Just what had happened. Maybe I could get it all straight, fill in the gaps that had been bothering me if I went back over it again from the beginning. I hadn't wanted to before this. I'd fought against even thinking about it. But now it was as if something was making me think about it.
That's right, John. Start way back, in the beginning. Then maybe you will remember. You've got to.
When was the beginning? When they assigned me here, I guess, miles from anywhere on the Jersey coast. I knew it was some kind of hush-hush project, and I'd been in the Army long enough not to ask questions. I had some ideas, though, and when I walked into administration and found Professor Martell there, I was pretty sure they were right. Lieutenant Larkin reporting for duty, sir.
Hello, John. How are you?
Fine, Professor. Major.
Well, let's forget the Major. I've been trying to. I think the Army's a little sorry about the whole thing also.
Oh, that's not the way I heard it. Some of the things you've worked out in the last few years was something. Quite a break, my getting assigned here.
You think it was an accident?
You mean you requested me?
Of course. What did I take you away from, by the way?
Oh, nothing very much. Straight communications, a little radar.
No chance to continue any of the research you started when you were at the university, huh?
No. Afraid I've gotten rusty?
Not really. But there are just going to be the three of us to do the bulk of the work. You, myself, and a chap named Roy Shields. He worked with Ramsey at Tech.
And what's the project? Something big?
I think so. We're going to try and establish radio contact with the moon.
What?
Theoretically, it shouldn't be too difficult, you know.
Of course. And with the progress we've made during the war... Well, Professor, it's terrific. One of the most exciting things I've ever heard of.
Think so?
Well, don't you? Don't you remember when we used to talk about it in the lab? What it would mean to the astronomers, the astrophysicists, measurements that they've never even been able to take before.
Yes, John, I remember.
Well, then?
I don't know. Somehow it worries me.
How we're going to do it?
No, that's all cut and dried. What's going to happen when we do it?
Well, what do you mean?
We're reaching out, John. Reaching out into places where man has never been before. We're pretty close to the secret of matter, to the origin of life, and to the mystery of the universe. Sometimes I become a little afraid. Afraid that we may stumble on something that's too much for us, too big and... That's silly. Go pick out a bunk and get some rest, John. Tomorrow, we'll go to work.
The work? I remember that all right, weeks of it. And finally, the big night, the night we were ready for our first test. It was clear and cool, the ocean still, not thundering, but whispering at the base of the cliffs, as if it were waiting. Every star separate and distinct, like signposts on the road to the infinite. Martell at the table in the center of the laboratory with the charts and diagrams doing the computing. Roy at the power controls, and I at the director.
Time?
23:02.
15 seconds. Power, 10.12.
Check.
You reading, John?
93 degrees.
Make it plus 0.2.
Check.
Time, 23:02:10.
Power on. 3 seconds. 4. Now.
How long to wait?
We should get it almost immediately. A lag of not more than... There, listen.
Huh? That's it! That's it! We've done it! We're in contact with the moon!
Yes, we'd done it. Reached out into space and done it. For the first time since man had walked erect, we had established contact with another heavenly body, bridged the infinite with man-made electrical impulses. There was no work done during the next 2 days, just excitement. Public relations broke the story the next morning, and we were swamped. Newspaper reporters, photographers, interviews, commentaries, prophecies. Finally, we got back to normal. And a couple of nights later... Yes, it's starting to come back to me now. I remember. It was the sound of the generators that woke me. I looked at my watch, almost midnight. Roy was asleep in his bunk, and I didn't wake him. I padded out along the duckboards to the laboratory. The lights were on. I went in, and there was Professor Martell. He was sitting at the control table, and he was funny. His eyes were open, but he didn't seem to see me. I said, "Hello, Professor." He didn't move.
Potty break.
Didn't answer. I took a quick look at the control board, and the frequency had been changed. A little uneasy, I tried again. "Professor, what are you doing?" And then something very strange happened. Half of him came alive. His right side first. His right eye lighting up, while his left eye stayed dead. His right hand twitched, while his left one remained stiff. It was just for a fraction of a second. Then...
What? Oh. Hello, John.
Hello, Professor. Anything the matter?
Matter? What am I doing in here?
I don't know, sir. I heard the generators go on. I came in and found you here.
Strange. Very strange. I went to bed about 10:30.
Ever walked in your sleep before?
No, not that I know of. Of course, I haven't been sleeping too well lately. Very disturbing dream. Did you change the transmitter frequency that way?
No, sir. You must have done it yourself in your sleep.
Funny. That would make it more of a carrier instead of a transmitter wave.
Shall I shift it back?
No, leave it. I'd like to take a look again in the morning. Do some thinking about it.
The next morning, somehow, neither of us mentioned it. I can't be sure now whether we didn't remember or just didn't think it was important. But that night... Yes, it was that night that we discovered what it meant. That we knew. It was the sound of the generators that woke me again. I looked at my watch a few minutes before midnight. And it was then that I noticed that Roy wasn't in his bunk. I lay there. And for some reason I was terrified, trembling. There was something in the air, a feeling of menace that... I made myself get up. Slipped on a pair of sneakers and went out along the ductwalk to the laboratory. The lights were on again. I didn't go in this time, but I looked in the window. There was Roy, and there was Professor Martell again. He was sitting at the control table with that sane, dead look on his face. And Roy was standing in front of him, talking to him. I could hear him through the window.
What is it, sir? What's going on? Is anything the matter? Sleep. Walking in his sleep. I better get Larkin and... I can't leave the generator on, though. Gotta shut that out first.
He turned and started to walk across the room toward the master switch. And as he turned, Martell moved. His face stayed dead, expressionless, but he moved. He got up without a sound, took a heavy wrench from the work table, and followed Roy. And then, just as Roy put out his hand to throw the switch, he hit him.
Oh!
I heard his skull go like the shell of a rotten pumpkin, and he went down, dead. I couldn't move. I couldn't make a sound. I just stood there, frozen with horror. Martell looked down at him without batting an eye. And then, like a zombie, he walked over to the bench, picked up a hacksaw and went back. And then, bending over Roy's body, he started cutting off the top of his head.
A voice from the void. And the midnight
Yikes.
waking. Memories. Things best forgotten. Coming back again. Memories of the terror that came out of space and of murder at midnight. And now, back to Murder at Midnight and Terror Out of Space.
That's all I remembered then. When Professor Martell bent over Roy's body with a hacksaw in his hand, I must have fainted. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the sand outside the shack, and there was Martell bending over me. No, Professor, no, don't!
Why,
Don't!
John, What's the matter?
Leave me alone. Don't come near me. Don't touch me. I saw what you did in there.
And where? Where?
Just now in the shack to Roy.
Aren't you well either, John?
What do you mean?
I just came up here from the cottage. I had a bad dream. I've been having quite a few of them lately, and I woke up with a very annoying headache. I came out to take a walk, get some air. I found you lying
But
here.
I'm telling you, I saw you. I saw you in there with Roy and...
And what?
Well, I don't even want to think about it. But you killed him.
Killed him? Huh. Let's go back to the bunkhouse, John. Take a look.
The bunkhouse?
Yes, when you see that Roy is where we should be, in bed, maybe it'll convince you that you either dreamed or imagined the whole thing.
He led the way to the bunkhouse, and I followed. Still shaken, but starting to feel a little foolish. This was the Professor Martell I had studied under, known for years, the man who wouldn't hurt a fly. We went into the bunkhouse, and Roy's bed was empty. He wasn't there. Martell gave me a funny look and started calling.
Roy! Roy, where are you? Roy!
Without a word, we hurried back to the laboratory, and there was no sign of him there either. Nothing. Wait, he must have gone out for a walk too, Professor, or maybe jeeped into town. If it was true, there'd be something here. His body, blood.
There, John.
Well, right there, in front of the switch. But there's nothing.
No. Except that it looks as if this floor was just scrubbed.
The floor? What? You're right.
John.
Huh?
Did you change the transmitter frequency this way?
But no, sir. You must have done it. Just the way you did last night.
Last night? You mean something happened last night, too?
You don't remember?
No. Tell me what you saw happen tonight. Everything you remember, whether you believe it now or not.
Well, it was pretty terrible, Professor. You were sitting there. And then, as quietly as if he were a laboratory specimen, you took a hacksaw and started to cut off the top of his head.
Merciful heavens.
Talking to you now, I know the whole thing's mad, impossible, but...
Yes, mad, impossible, but...
You mean it could have happened some way without your knowing it?
Sit down, John. Relax. Tell me what you know about the moon.
Well, the moon is a satellite, stellar body, probably formed by our sun in an encounter with some other stellar body.
Yes, probably formed at the same time as the Earth. But it may very well have supported life long before there was life here.
Life? But we know what its atmosphere is.
Yes, we know what it is now. But how do we know what it was several million years ago? Just suppose, that there was life there millions of years ago. Life that reached a level of development we cannot even imagine. Suppose it died out as a form of life that we could recognize, but remained in a form that is eternal.
What? What do you mean?
In the form of electrical energy. We know that thought is an electrical process. An electrocephalograph will give a definite reading when a man is thinking.
Yes.
Suppose intelligences continue to exist on the moon in the form of complex electric charges. And suppose a channel is suddenly opened between the moon and some other planet.
The beams we sent out are our radar beams. You mean they could come down the beam, take hold of someone, you, and make you...
I'm supposing, John, hypothesizing. But the fact is that the transmitter was set at carrier frequency, and none of us did it consciously. Of course, even if it's true, we have no way of knowing whether these entities are dangerous, malevolent, or not.
No way of knowing, but they killed. They made you kill Roy.
Because he was going to shut off the transmitter, cut off contact with the place they came from. As for the rest, well, they would be intensely curious about the human body, particularly the brain. They would want to examine it. Analyze.
Good Lord, Professor, do you realize what you're saying? The taking over of a person's body?
Yes, John, I do realize what I'm saying. Well, I don't believe it myself. Have you a gun?
Why, yes. Yes, I never carry it.
Well, start carrying it. And if you notice me doing anything strange, incomprehensible, don't hesitate. Shoot.
I didn't sleep that night. I remember that now. And I was convinced that I would never sleep again. Because it was there then, the moon. It was there all the time, of course, day and night. But it was during the night, when I was asleep, that it would be easiest for them, that they might try and... No, I can't think about it. I won't even now. With the daylight, I felt a little better. Roy hadn't come back, but, well, there were a dozen possible explanations for that. I went to have another talk with Professor Martell. And he was gone, too. His bed was empty, as if it had never been slept in. I waited until about noon. Then I called headquarters. I had decided that I was going to tell them only facts, things I could believe myself.
Hello?
Hello, Colonel. This is Larkin over at Radar Experimental.
Oh, yes, Larkin. How are you?
Pretty good, sir. I'd like to report that both Sergeant Shields and Major Martell are missing.
Huh? Missing? What do you mean?
I don't know, sir. They were both gone when I got up this morning.
AWOL, eh? Well, that's my fault. You men have been working awfully hard. I meant to suggest that you take leaves. Why don't you go missing, too?
Oh, no, sir, I couldn't. Not right now.
Okay. Then you carry on until they get back, and then I'll arrange for you to do it officially.
So I stayed. Stayed there in the lonely shack on top of the cliff, alone. And that was the most awful, terrible week of my life. Only the wind, the pounding of the surf, and my fears that were with me constantly. There was work I had to do, but I had to force myself to go into the laboratory. Then, on Friday, they found Roy's body. A phone call took me to town to the local funeral parlor. When I got there, the colonel was waiting.
You knew Sergeant Shields pretty well, didn't you, Larkin?
Yes, sir.
Some fishermen found a body in their nets this morning. I wish you'd look at it.
Of course, sir.
Right here.
Oh, good Lord.
Evidently, the fish were pretty hungry.
Well, no one could be sure, sir, but I think that is Shields.
All right, Larkin. Thank you.
Yes, they found Roy's body. And that night, Martell came back. I'd taken something to make me sleep. It was the only way I could sleep. But the sound of the generators woke me again. I lay there listening, unbelieving but terrified because there was no one at the station but me. Then, picking up my gun, I went down the duck walk to the laboratory. I opened the door, and there he was, Professor Martell. His face was thin and haggard. His eyes were dead, lackluster, the way they'd been those other 2 nights. And when he spoke, his voice was hardly human, as if someone was using him, speaking through him.
Too bad that you woke up, Larkin. You should not have come in here.
What do you mean, Professor? Where have you been?
We have been looking over your planet, studying it. Very interesting. And now we are ready to go.
Go? Go where? What are you talking about? What are you... You said we. Professor Martell, have they...
Just a few preparations to make. And then...
The voice, that horrible voice, stopped, and Martell swayed as if he were going to fall.
John.
I grabbed him, and he opened his eyes. He was himself again. And when he spoke, it was with his own voice.
John, for heaven's sake, help me. Help me.
How, Professor, how?
Your gun. What I told you, don't you remember? Don't you understand? They've got me. They took me that night. Took me all over the country. Looking, examining, studying. They picked my brain. They sucked me dry. And now they're going to take me back with them.
Back with them?
Back to where they came from. Not my body, they're not interested in that. But the essential me, in heaven's name, shoot, John. Shoot and... And now we are ready.
They had him again.
As your friend told you, we are taking him with us. But you will not remember. You will remember nothing. Do you understand? Because someday we may come back.
I stood there, frozen, still holding on to Martell. Like a sleepwalker with superhuman strength, he pushed me away. I staggered back against the wall. Stiffly and mechanically, he walked to the door, opened it, and went out. The surf was thundering, the wind blowing. Straight to the edge of the cliff he walked, and then went over. But before he fell, he seemed almost to hover for a moment, as if something in him was going not down, but up.
Now, do you remember, John? Now, do you remember? You've got to remember. You've got to. I tricked them, fooled them. That's how I was able to get through to you. But they'll be coming for me any minute, and John, you've got to do something. You've got to. It's true, they do exist. And they've got me here. They may be coming back again for others. John, they're coming. They're coming. Do something. Do.
When I woke up about a half hour ago, I found this all written out on the pad I keep next to my bed. Written out in my own handwriting, but a little scrawled and jerky, as if my hand wasn't quite steady. Some of it I remember. Other parts, like Roy's murder, Professor Martell's suicide, I don't recall at all. Either I'm mad, completely mad, or... No, I can't think about it. I mustn't. Anyway, if I showed this to anyone, the world would think I'm mad. So now I'm going to burn it. Burn it up completely.
White and shaking, John Larkin tears the scrawled pages from his notebook, crumples them into an ashtray, and puts a match to them. And thus there disappears into ashes the only remaining evidence of the terror from out of space and of murder at midnight.
Okay, there you go. Terror Out of Space, Murder at Midnight. Okay, yeah, next level coming along really well. I really like the bathroom, but here's the other room. Just finished up. Look at the air conditioning unit in the wall. The light, the door, got a picture up on the wall. It's coming together. This is where the gutter is going to be and the flowers outside. Same as on here. But yeah, add another door, and that's bag 11. So I'm on to bag 12. We're getting there. We're getting there. Let me open up these bags. I think I got 3 bags for 12. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm getting there, you guys. almost done. Well, you know what I mean. If I were able to sit here for 12 hours straight, which I can't do, I wonder how much I'd be able to get through. Let me get these though. We'll play another Murder at Midnight in a second here, but yeah, we're going to do some furniture now in here. And probably looks like lay some more tiles maybe, I don't know. Actually a lot of little pieces here. So one thing I learned with doing these though, you got to stay relaxed in order to get the therapeutic, like, you know, oh, this is relaxing, you know. Otherwise, you know, if you're somebody who's on edge all the time, and maybe you're drinking too much coffee and you're like, oh my God, it can aggravate you a little bit, you know, but I don't get aggravated. I really do enjoy doing it. But this is a lot of little pieces, that's for sure. But we will get through this. We're getting there. After this, we got 13, 14, and 15. Looks like bag 15 is going to be the roof. And I think next stream we'll be able to get everything done. So 7:30, 8:30, 9:30. I still got 2 hours. Who the heck knows how much I'll get done? We shall see. So let's pick another one. Heck, should I do a Murder at Midnight, or should I do something else? What do you guys want to? Anything you want to hear in particular? Let me see what I can dig up here. Yeah, tell me what you guys might want to hear, as long as it's not something that's going to be... I've never played the Black Ghost. series, but okay, come on. Mysterious apparition. Let me play an episode of The Black Ghost. This is 30s. I think this one sounds good. If it doesn't sound good, I'm going to turn it off, but let me see. A mysterious apparition has been robbing cripples. What the heck? Oh, Jeff Reagan. Okay, no. I'll do Jeff Reagan. You don't have to pull my arm to play some Jeff Reagan. I love Jeff Reagan. The man who, let's see, which one should we get? Got to make sure it's the ones that I've got that sound good. The guy from Gower Gulch. I just played that one not long ago. The Gambler and His Lady. Yeah, let's play The Gambler and His Lady, Jeff Reagan. Let's see. This one should be good sounding.
My name's Reagan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Anthony J. Lyon.
Thanks, Harry.
They call me the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, the Lion's Eye, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of The Gambler and His Lady.
You find it in Hollywood, on Taft Avenue. 4-story apartment building, the color of a rainy afternoon. They call it the Havenwood. It sags in the middle like a tired frankfurter. That's where I live. Apartment 3K. 2 rooms with a pull-down bed and a pair of windows that stick when it's hot. Oh, the view isn't much. 6 strands of telephone wire and the head of a shaved-off palm tree. Beyond is the city, L.A., spread out on the map like a raw egg with a broken yolk. Oh, the town's all right, I guess, if you can afford the sedatives. The Lion likes it. He set himself up as a receiving clerk for trouble, and I work for him. It was about 11:15 Tuesday night when my phone began making itself felt. Turned out to be the Lion breathing hard. It figured he was running his fingers over a greenback.
Regan, want to hear the sound of a brand new $50 bill?
Send me a record.
What's the matter? You sound like you're flat on your back.
How do you sleep?
Who's sleeping? I'm working, and that's what you're going to be doing.
Try me tomorrow.
Throw on some clothes. You're going down to Venice Boulevard to see a lady. She's got daughter trouble.
Well, marry her off.
She didn't pay us $50 for that. The problem goes deeper.
How much?
She'll tell you.
I want it from you.
I don't know it all for sure.
Don't you ever check into things?
I do the general work. You get the details.
Yeah, you drag a wet rag over the 50, and if the ink stays on, we got a client.
That's insulting.
How would you know?
Regan, you don't want to keep a lady waiting. Now get a move on.
Give me the name.
This is Eleanor Bascom, Pierpont Hotel.
Yeah?
And phone me after you talk to her.
What for?
I want to be sure it's legit.
Do you care?
Better make that call to me tomorrow after 10. I'm sort of going to be tied up till then.
Doing what?
Sleeping.
Well, I put on some clothes, picked up my car, and moved out to Venice Boulevard. The good humor men were all gone, and I had the street to myself. 20 minutes later, I came to a stop beside a garbage can near San Pedro. Behind it stood the Pierpont Hotel, a 2-deck pile of wood left over from the sinking of the Spanish Armada. There was a black and dirty white sign outside, said rooms 50 cents, weekly and monthly rates. The names Eleanor and Georgia Bascom showed in the mailbox and gave a room 210. I climbed a flight of stairs and walked down a hall that looked like a passageway in a pyramid. It was dark, and it took my cigarette lighter to turn up the numbers. 210 finally showed, and I rapped on the door. A bush of black and gray hair pulled it open. It was wearing a red kimono and an impatient look, like a tax collector in January. She was pushing 50 and looked tired.
Yes?
I'm Reagan, international detective.
Oh, yes, the Lion's Eye. I've been waiting for you. Come in.
I love these lines,
I'm
man.
Mrs. Bascom.
Eleanor or Georgia?
Georgia's my daughter. I want to apologize for getting you out here this time of night, Mr. Regan, but it's urgent.
The Lion said that the girl's the problem, huh?
Yes,
How old is she?
22.
Who's the man?
How'd you know there was a man?
Well, what other kind of trouble would she go after?
She's a good girl, Mr. Regan. She always has been.
Until now. Huh?
That's what I want to know.
Well, she's old enough to call her plays.
That's not the advice I'm paying for.
Where'd you get the 50?
It took a lot of saving.
All right, give me his name.
Louis Desmond.
Gambler, card sharp, bookie, all-around con man.
He's got a card room out toward Gardena someplace, the Five Aces Club.
What does your daughter see in him?
Oh, it's this place. The way we have to live. She's tired of having nothing. I've tried, but she's looking for a change.
And taking a wrong turn.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, other girls have it real tough. They go to work.
Well, we had a little trouble in the family once. It shows up if someone starts looking.
When can I talk to Georgia?
Well, you'll have to work that out yourself, Mr. Regan.
What does that mean?
She put some clothes in a suitcase and left earlier this evening. That's why I had to call you so suddenly.
Where'd she go?
Louis is a real bum, Mr. Regan.
You talk like you know him.
We've met. I want to know just what's going on. If Louis is forcing her into anything crooked.
She force easy?
A fur coat makes a young girl do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a picture of her. You may need it. It's not very good, but the only one I've got.
I'll make it work.
That's about all, Mr. Regan. Get in touch with me as soon as you get something.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Regan.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm the kind of person who sometimes gets hysterical over things, but I'm also the kind who demands results.
You sound like a radio commercial. It was after midnight when I followed the fog out Vermont toward Gardena. The yellow lights were pressing, but they were doing about as much good as a pint of bourbon at a Shriners convention. I wandered around the flatland for a while before the Five Aces Club turned up by a bend in the road. It looked like a blue wart with a neon sign. There was a front door and a back one, and a couple of pairs of shoulders standing at each. A little guy in a pinstriped gray was figuring the size of the wallets going in. Louis Desmond's office showed at the top of the stairway, and I moved for it. But a muscle looking down on 6 feet was playing frontman. He put a knotted hand on my arm, and when he spoke, it sounded like a gear factory doing double time.
Slow down, Pilgrim. The room you're looking for is the other way.
Yeah, well, this one says office.
That's the trouble with you guys who read. Can't take hints.
Spell it out.
Beat it.
Not until I see Louis Desmond.
What's your business?
I'll tell it to him.
You owe him some dough?
No, I don't.
Then he ain't interested.
He will be.
Listen, Junior,
Come on, get him off of me, punk.
What's all the noise, Patsy?
Sightseer without a ticket.
My name's Reagan.
Cup?
Maybe.
You want me to bounce him down the stairs, boss?
Maybe. What do you want?
Talk.
That's always a waste of time.
Not if it's about Georgia Bascom.
Come on in. Never saw you around here before, Regan.
No, I can't afford it.
Oh, don't say that. Some people go out of here with more than they come in with.
Yeah, you.
Guess you're right at that. Cigar?
No, thanks.
Well, what about Georgia, Regan?
You tell me.
That doesn't add. You came to see me.
She's got a worried mother.
They're all like that.
Now, this one figures you're doing a little forcing.
Oh.
You'd know more about that.
Give me a clue.
Blackmail, maybe?
You're a kick. Arthur Godfrey'd love to get a hold of you.
I come too high.
Let me give you some good advice. Go home and pull a blanket over your head and say it's all a bad dream.
You know, you talk a lot, mister, but you don't say much. What's the hold on Georgia?
All right, wise guy. Honey. Come over here, baby. Regan, you know this girl?
I've seen a picture.
Georgia, this is a peeper named Regan. He come to rescue you.
But what for, Mr. Regan?
$50?
My mother gave you that to come and take me back?
Something like that.
But I can't go.
Why not?
Well,
Go ahead. Show him, baby.
look, Regan. 3 carats.
With a wedding band to match.
On what dice table did you pick those up?
Stop the noise, Regan. Congratulate the lady.
Not on a bad mistake.
Listen, Shamus.
Oh, never mind him, Louis. He doesn't matter.
When did the furs come?
Louis said soon. Tell Mama we're married and not to worry. We're going away for a few days.
Ensenada for some gambling and fishing.
You won't enjoy it.
Sure I will. You'll be in L.A.
The alley behind the Five Aces Club hadn't been dusted in a week. My brown flannel suit fixed that. Well, I picked myself up and made it for the car. Moving north on Vermont, I tried to add a couple of things. There was a funny smell in Louie's office when I first walked in, like rope on fire. Somebody'd been there before me who smoked cubebs. Desmond worked on cigars. Georgia held a king-size Pall Mall. Well, whoever it was still played it coy. About 1 o'clock, I started raising a small campaign with the Lion's door knocker. His dream must have been a real good one because it took him 10 minutes to get to the door. He was wearing a nightgown, and he looked like a poor imitation of the Fisk tire ad. All that was missing was the candle.
Reagan, I told you not to bother me until after 10 a.m.
It's no bother.
Get out of here, let a man sleep.
Your dreams will be bad.
What do you mean?
You just lost a client.
What's the matter? The money phony?
Georgia Bascom married Desmond. There's nothing I can do about it.
Well, think of something. Say you married her first.
You're out of your mind.
So it's a bad idea. Get a good one.
Yeah, I already have.
What is it?
You give Mrs. Bascom her case back.
Well, you can't do that.
Try me.
Think a minute, Reagan. She's come to us for help. A lonely woman with no place to turn entrusts her trouble to International.
You got that 50 spent?
It's not the money. It's the moral obligation.
Oh, stop it, will you? You don't give blood anymore since you found out somebody'd pay for it.
You're getting out of line.
You're the only guy in town who can turn a shaving cut into a bankroll.
That's enough. Well, let's do it this way. You go over to Mrs. Bascom and give her the lowdown. Let her decide if she wants you to carry on or not.
You sure go to a lot of trouble for a 50.
I need a lot of new
lines.
stuff around the place.
Well, it's close to Christmas, right to Santa Claus. Well, I left the Lion looking for a fountain pen, and I drove out to...
Who's better, though, Jeff Reagan or Pat Novak? I mean, honestly, I think Pat Novak has the better lines. But this is a close second, Jeff Reagan, in my opinion.
Venice Boulevard and the Pierpont Hotel. The place still looked the same. A black Nash was parked up the block, the motor going. A couple of cats were doing a duet on a garbage can. I climbed the stairs to the second floor, and I started down the hall for 210, walking real easy to keep the boards from creaking, but somebody else didn't care about the noise. There was a gun with a silencer working in Mrs. Bascom's room. I pushed the door in, but by then all I could hear was silence. The light showed an open window with a fire escape, and the wind was blowing the curtains. Mrs. Bascom lay face down on the bed, real still, and the holes in her blanket were turning wet. The Lion really lost a client that time. Well, it didn't take Sanducci and the boys long to get there. The fingerprint man and the photographers went to work in the room. Sanducci picked me. He had a grouch on like a fat lady in an upper berth.
What's the matter, Regan? You get lost?
What do you mean?
You're pretty far from home.
Well, I get around.
Who is she?
Name's Eleanor Bascom.
I know that. What'd she do? Where'd she come from?
I don't know.
What were you doing out here?
She called in the Lion. Her daughter ran off with Louis Desmond.
Oh, he in it? How far?
Ask him.
Mrs. Bascom wants you to bring her daughter back.
She wanted to know if the girl was moving into a racket.
Was she?
I haven't found out.
I should have known better than to ask a detective. Why didn't she call us?
She was behind on her taxes.
What do you do, Private? Sit up nights figuring ways to make my job harder?
You through with me?
No. Who killed her, Regan?
I don't know.
Bad choice of words.
Go check a black Nash parked up the street.
Got a license number?
No, I haven't.
Thanks a lot.
Look, I'm no medium. I didn't know she was marked.
Any other big ideas?
A few.
Well, keep them to yourself. They're all wrong. Now get out of here.
Yeah. Say, Sanducci.
Yeah?
The Lion can handle another client now.
So what?
Want to sign up? Well, I went home and slept. Coffee and warmed-over biscuits at the drugstore took care of breakfast the next morning. Then I checked the phone book. Louis Desmond's home address turned up on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, and so I drove out there. It was on a corner. A two-story colonial place with white colors and green shutters. The doorbell sounded like a second chorus of the Hollywood Bowl. The Japanese maid let me in, and I waited in the anteroom. That's when I caught that peculiar smell again. Somebody had just been there who smoked those Cubeb cigarettes. Well, a couple of minutes later, a tall blonde fighting 30 stepped up to me. She smelled like she just crawled out of a bottle of Platine. It was a bright morning, but she had the kind of look that had you wishing for an eclipse.
Well, what do you want?
Louis Desmond.
Census taker?
No.
What's he done?
I don't know yet. Where is he?
I don't know where he is. He didn't come home last night.
Lots of work at the office?
Card room out in Gardena.
Lots of work out there?
He didn't say. He doesn't tell me everything.
Should he?
Depends on what you think of your marriage vows.
Who are you?
His wife. Want a drink, mister?
Sure.
What'll it be?
Yours?
Bourbon. You pour. I don't know when to stop.
All right. Here you go.
To marriage. It's a mess.
Cigarette?
Never touch him. Interferes with my drinking.
Who smokes the Q-Bebs?
Is that what that stuff is?
Yeah.
The little guy walked in here looking for Louie and smelled up the place.
Hiya, Stella.
Oh, hello, Patsy. Just in time for a drink.
Company?
Yeah. What's your name, fella?
He knows.
You learn hard, don't you, Regan?
What's going on?
He's an eye.
So what?
So he gets a bounce.
He's my friend.
Beat it, Seamus, or I'll split you.
Stay right where you are. This is my house, and I'll entertain who I want.
With the boss's liquor?
I've got some rights.
Well, figure out what they are and try 'em on the boss.
I don't like you, Patsy.
Beat it, Peeper.
Get your paws off of me. Come on, get him off.
Stop it, Patsy. Stop it, I said.
Well, you hit him pretty hard, lady.
No, I didn't. His head's soft.
Well, I left her picking up pieces of glass, and I drove back toward Hollywood. I was moving east on Sunset, trying to make some sense out of Desmond's domestic life, when I spotted that black sedan again. It was doing a real bad tag job on me. I pushed the pedal closer to the floor, but the sedan had better gas. It caught me going around a bend past Beverly Glen and started pushing me. Oh, it was a great place for a boulevard stop, but none showed. All it did was a reflection in my rearview mirror of the driver in the black sedan. It was feminine, and the voice spelled out Georgia Bascom. That's when she moved in for a closer look.
You are listening to the story of the gambler and his ladies, tonight's adventure with Jeff Reagan, investigator. Listen, this is good news. Good news for you if you're between the ages of 20 and 26 and a half, married or single, a high school graduate, and want to fly for the United States Air Force. Yes, the Air Force Aviation Cadet Program is offering you the opportunity to become a pilot officer in the mightiest Air Force in history. You can be one of the Air Force's men of renown. And there's more offered than the pride you feel in being a member of America's flying team. Or after your 52 weeks of training, you'll graduate as a second lieutenant in the Air Force with an income of more than $300 per month. Remember, the Air Force offers you what it offered General Jimmy Doolittle, General Carl Spaatz, and General Hoyt Vandenberg, now at 42, the Air Force Chief of Staff. Call at your local Army and Air Force recruiting station tomorrow. Apply to become an aviation cadet. And now, back to the story of the gambler and his ladies and Jeff Reagan, investigator.
Well, things were moving as fast as the last reel in a Western movie. The Lion sent me out to see a lady who was having daughter trouble. Georgia Bascom had done a tie-in with a gambler named Louis Desmond. Only it looked real permanent. She was wearing his wedding ring, and the mother ended up carrying a couple of bullets, and homicide moved in. That's when I met a blonde at Desmond's house who said she was Louis's wife. Well, I was working on the mess when a black sedan with Georgia at the wheel ran me off the road, and the slugs began to fly. I peeled myself off the side of the hill, and I got in touch with the police. Sanducci took over and invited me to headquarters for some more talk. He put me in a little room with pale green walls and sat behind a big desk chewing a dead cigar. He was taking me all in like a Hoover vacuum cleaner on a dirty rug.
Well, how do you feel, Reagan?
All right.
You shouldn't.
Why not?
Looks to me like from here on in you're a marked man.
I'll get along.
It'll be real interesting to see how.
All right, now look, have you got something to say?
Maybe.
Well, let's hear it.
Relax, Reagan. You're not going anyplace.
You can't hold me. I was the one who got shot at.
Well, that's enough. I'll work out a way to hold you for creating a disturbance.
It won't work.
Listen, you. The bullets we pulled out of your upholstery matched the ones in Mrs. Bascom's.
So what?
So we figure she was knocked off because she knew something somebody didn't want said. We also figure that applies to you.
Yeah, well, that gets you nothing.
All right, Reagan. Play it your way this time. You'll come running back when the haters close in.
Don't make book on it.
Well, if you gotta get yourself knocked off, don't mess up our city streets.
Yeah, I'll be real careful.
Oh, and wear a dark suit that save our morticians a little trouble.
That all?
Yeah, go on, beat it, sure.
Oh, WTF, I do plan on, you're going to get a Lego person, a little minifigure eye view of going through the city. I have an idea. I'm working out a way of where you're going to have a tour like you're a little person looking up at the buildings and stuff through a little camera on it. So yes, of course, I have got to do that. So that is going to be done. That is a good idea. So yeah. JoJo's here. Two things I love: Old Time Radio and Lego Pantasy Building. Thank you, JoJo. Really appreciate it. Yeah, having fun putting it together so far. I mean, here's the bedroom. I mean, look, how cute is that bedroom? Got a lamp next to the bed, a little flower and water. Got a rug by the door, picture. I mean, and this is the apartment above. And then there's a little puppy outside on the deck with plants and a table. Pretty cool. I'm getting there. Back to Jeff Reagan.
Oh, Reagan. Yeah. E Buffy de tu padre.
What's that mean?
Your father's mustache.
Well, it was late afternoon by the time I walked out of headquarters. The sun was still working, but it was cold. The cab driver, with a lot of conversation, drove me to my place over on Taft. When I opened my front door, I smelled it again, those cubebs. A small face was sitting on my sofa, sucking on them. It belonged to a guy who had to stand on a box to see over a fox terrier. When I shut the door behind me, he ground a cigarette into an ashtray and turned on a nervous look like a pig in a football factory.
Your landlady let me in, Mr. Reagan. I hope you don't mind. I have to talk to you.
We met before.
We did? I don't remember.
Just me and your cigarettes.
Huh? Oh, you mind if I smoke?
You just finished one.
Oh, yes, so I did. May I have a drink then? Just a small one.
All right.
Thank you. I generally don't drink, but tonight Yeah, thank you. Now, I barely know where to begin.
Well, you better figure it out. You haven't got much time.
Yes, yeah. Well...
Start with a name.
Is that necessary?
Yeah, it is.
Loper, Max Loper. I'm a businessman.
What kind?
What kind? Furrier. Yeah, I'm a furrier, Mr. Regan. All sorts of furs, ermines, nice. Generally, I prefer sable, but it depends on the woman, you know.
What does Georgia get?
Beg pardon?
Let it go.
I'm not the man I used to be, Mr. Regan. My fortunes have changed. Yeah, it changed. I think I better have that cigarette.
Save it for later and start making sense.
Well, I need help.
Why come to me?
Well, Mrs. Bascom thought enough of you to ask you to help her. You see, I know Mrs. Bascom. That is, I knew Mrs. Bascom. Her death was so sudden.
It was forced.
Yeah, so the papers say. But, Mr. Regan, I want you to know I didn't do it.
Who said you did?
Well, nobody yet. But I didn't do it.
Look, why tell me?
There's nobody else I can tell.
Try the police.
No, that's what I can't do. I want you to prove to them that I wouldn't do a thing like that.
Loper, what's your tie-in with Desmond?
Desmond? What? There is no tie-in.
You were at his card room. I smelled your cigarettes there. You got nothing, I guess, and you went to his house.
Mr. Regan, that's got nothing to do with it.
I think different.
But you're wrong, all wrong.
Convince me.
I didn't do the murder. That's what I want you to tell the police.
Who did?
I don't know.
Well, now I think you do. Come on. Who killed George's mother?
It was her stepmother who was killed.
Give me some more.
Oh, you got me all confused. I guess coming to you for help was a bad idea.
Something was.
I'll find somebody else who doesn't ask so many questions. I better go.
No, not yet, little man. You got too many answers.
Take your hands off me. Now, Mr. Regan, I never used one of these, but the theory is simple. Just pull the trigger.
If you can find it.
Don't urge me. Open the door. Go on.
Sure.
Now step away. See you later, Mr. Regan.
Hey, Loper. He made it to the staircase, and then the noise came. A couple of bullets flew up the spiral and caught him in the chest. He stopped in midair for a second like a yo-yo on a string, and then he toppled over and rolled down. By the time I got to him, he was all used up. Well, a call into homicide brought some of the boys out, and they took care of him. A fat guy with a head like a plunger took him pictures for a paper, and a girl with a leaky fountain pen got the story. It took about an hour and a half to clear my place. But the minute the crowd moved out, the lion moved in. He had a sheet of paper in one hand, and his face was lit up like an old maid at a cocktail party.
This concerns Louis Desmond and Georgia Bascom. You interested?
Yeah?
Desmond's got a wife, and her name's not Georgia.
No, it's Stella, and she's a ripe candidate for a drunk tank.
What else do you know about her?
She's jealous.
Well, there's no record any place of a divorce or of a marriage between Georgia and Desmond. That whole setup's a phony.
Tell me why.
Georgia's father, named Peter Bascom, was a furrier. And he was once in on a fur job with the same Louis Desmond.
Go on.
The old Bascom ended up with a bullet in him, and Louis with a pile of dough.
How did it work?
I can't find out everything. You got to do something.
You know a Max Loper?
Never heard of him.
You got an address on this Georgia?
The Arena Hotel, room 406, in Catalina, off Wilshire.
All right.
The way I figured, an insurance company might be real interested to get hold of her.
No, the gas chamber's got priority.
We figured the swindle first. Collect the fat bonus, then let the city handle her any way it wants. Call me when you get it all sewed up.
What are you going to be doing?
Resting at home. I'm all worn out.
Yeah, well, that figures. You've been doing a little thinking. The Lorena Hotel, 6 stories of plush carpet and gold paint. It was night when I got there and the neon was on. The buzzer brought the door open and Georgia Bascom stood there carrying an overcoat. She had her purse under her arm and it figured she was leaving. When she saw me, she turned on a surprised look.
Oh, Mr. Reagan.
Moving out?
Just a little errand.
It'll keep. Shut the door.
Now, see here.
Shut up.
Well, that's a lot of nerve.
Don't let it bother you. There are bigger things.
Like what?
A fur job you and Louie are working on.
What are you talking about?
And a little murder. Throw your purse on the sofa.
I will not.
Come on, lady. It's getting heavy. Now open the closet door. Come on.
There. I hope you're satisfied.
I'm not much on fashions. Read them to me.
3 airmen, 3 sable.
10,000 apiece.
More.
Max Lopers.
Yeah.
Well, you can't wear them all. You got a friend?
I don't need one.
All right, sis. What is it?
Nothing.
That's your version.
You could be wrong.
When'd you marry Desmond?
Last week.
Bad answer. He's got a wife named Stella. Bigamy will get him in trouble.
Well, that's his problem.
No, it's yours, too, if the courts can prove you knew.
All right, I didn't marry him.
Then why the wedding ring?
Hey, you ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, I do.
Why don't you get out of here?
Louie's not new on fur jobs. He knows how much work it is to palm him off.
You're talking to yourself.
Loper never got to outlive a double cross.
What are you going to do with that?
Nothing. Homicide will work it out.
I didn't kill anybody.
You'll work up a sweat proving it.
Louis did it, honest. He killed my stepmother because she knew how the job worked. He
Louis
gave
the
her to Loper,
Looper.
too. He would...
Hiya, friends.
It must be raining. The worms are coming to the top.
Hello, Louis. Regan's got it figured. I was just stalling him till you got here.
Sure, Georgia. I know.
Honest, Louis, honest. I didn't mean to say you did the knockoffs.
We'll talk about it later.
You better finish it now. You're not going to be around.
We'll see.
They got a spot all staked out for you up north.
Isn't that interesting? Reagan, I got a set of instructions for you. I want you to be real nice and follow them.
What's in it for me?
You kill me, Seamus. I'm holding all the cards. You want to rake in the pot.
I better get going, Louis. We shouldn't be seen together right now.
Slow down, baby. I got something for you, too.
But Louis,
Big mouth.
Big
mouth.
Look, you didn't have to hit her more than once.
She got off easy. Everybody's got 32 teeth.
Desmond moved us out of the apartment and down the hall. Georgia was beginning to sob, but Desmond wasn't impressed. He held the gun under his coat and walked behind us careful, like an elephant on a crate of eggs. The button brought the elevator, and the 3 of us went in, and then it started down. When the door swung open on the first floor, a whiff of bourbon came floating in, packing a .32. Louis turned white.
Lark Bark, what's going on? It's me. I'm building the bakery by Pantasy. It's a building set like Lego. And I'm playing some old-time radio while I'm doing it. So there you go.
Stella.
I told him if he kept messing around, he was going to have trouble at home.
Want to give me the gun?
No. What's your name, girlie?
Georgia.
Were you in love with Louis?
I don't know.
Well, go find out. You want it now, Regan? It's empty.
You know, lady, you fixed nothing.
What do you mean?
Where you're going, you'll all be together again. Well, it was all over fast, like a $1 dinner. The coroner's office sent out some boys for Georgia and Louie, and Sanducci picked up Stella. Desmond had himself a pretty good thing. Do a tie-in with a furrier and move the furs across the border with nobody making a fuss. Oh, it was slow work, but $10,000 a week's pretty good pay, and it was real safe. Loper wasn't going to say the furs were even stolen until they were turned into money. Of course, he never got to say it at all. Everything would have been all right if Stella didn't see green every time Louie saw blonde. Well, the insurance company thanked us for what we did to expose the fraud. The Lion was unhappy. He said they should have shown their gratitude with something more lasting. They gave it to him, a 1949 pocket calendar.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Reagan, with Herb Butterfield as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS at the same time next week for more hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Reagan, Investigator. Written by Larry Roman, produced by Sterling Tracy. Included in tonight's cast were Mary Lansing, Marvin Miller, Pat McGeehan, Lorette Philbrandt, Jack Petruzzi, Yvonne Patey, and Sidney Miller. Original music for this program is by Milton Charles. Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Yeah, there we go. Some Jeff Reagan. It's Jeff Reagan is what it is. Yes, yes. Good to see you, Lark Bark, and everybody else. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button as you're coming in here. Yeah, I've finished a couch, a plant, a cabinet where they got all kinds of little bottles, but it's, see, when the doors are closed, see all the little things you never really see inside until you take it off. But it's all decorated, right? So, and this is going to end up being a bookshelf, which I'm almost done with this bag, and then I can move on to bag 13. So I'm whipping through this pretty good. See, and then there's a printed paper that goes on here, and this is going to be right. Let's see, this is going to be, well, it looks like I put that on wrong. Because the green side goes, the paper goes on the yellow side. So yeah, this goes like that. Then the paper, come on, get this right, Dino. Like that, and then the blue like that. Then this is going to go right here, and then I can lift it up and show you guys. I mean, look at the detail. I mean, this is, I love these sets. I love these Pantasy sets. So there you go. It's like a pad of paper or the newspaper. Just looks really, really good, man. So I'm getting there. Let's see. Do we play another Jeff Reagan? Another Jeff Reagan. Love these stories. Thank you, Traveling Fools. Back trying to stay cool. It's a scorcher here, Lark Bark. Yep, it's hot in a lot of places. Let's do another Jeff Reagan. Man Who Lived by the Sea. Let's do that one. Here we go.
My name's Reagan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Jack Webb is Jeff Reagan, Investigator, as CBS offers you hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of the man who lived by the sea.
The
next time you're out for a drive, pick up Olive Street along about the 700 block. You can't miss it. It's a big building made out of white granite. The Cosmopolitan Building. Anthony J. Lyon, the guy I work for, rents an office there. International Detective Bureau, Suite 308. A couple of rooms with a connecting wastebasket. The Lion has the only desk in the office and a typewriter that Remington dropped from their catalog back in 1915. I walked in about 11 o'clock last Tuesday morning. The room was loaded with taboo. She was a tall girl with a flock of black hair and a mink coat. The kind you see driving a Nash convertible down Sunset Boulevard on warm Sunday afternoons. No wonder the Lion's cigar was out. It was wet on both ends. He had one arm around her shoulders. He knew by this time that coat was the real article. There wasn't any music, but he didn't seem to mind.
Come on in, Reagan.
Not much room to dance.
We got business.
She's your date.
This is Mr. Reagan, Miss Kara.
How do you do, Mr. Reagan? Mr. Lyon tells me you're just the man I want.
Well, he said the same thing to a mortician last week.
Miss Kara is associated with the famous psychic consultant Prince Nemo.
I help the prince look into people's minds.
Well, that ought to be fun if all your customers are under 6.
You don't believe in thought transference, Mr. Reagan?
Do you?
Prince Nemo sent Miss Kara to retain an operator.
Why didn't he come himself?
Prince Nemo never appears in public.
He misses some good ball games.
He has television.
Yeah.
The prince prefers to spend his time in meditation and thought. I handle all of his outside contacts.
Regan, I want you to drive out to Prince Nemo's home in Ocean Town with Miss Kara and speak to the prince.
What kind of a retainer did he send you?
We don't discuss finances in front of clients.
Oh, this is another blind spot. You don't know what this guy wants.
He said it's a very delicate matter, and he wants to explain it to you himself.
Oh, sure. She waltzed in here with a check, and you'd sell your grandmother to a glue factory for $2.
Is there any way I can reassure you, Mr. Regan?
Buy me a battleship.
You got a license and a contract with International.
You want to tell me about it, lady?
Prince Nemo was very excited this morning. He called me in and told me to make the arrangements.
It's not enough script.
He never tells me anything. I just work for him. Will you please?
Yeah, all right.
Here's a nickel. Call me and tell me what's up.
Suppose I can't.
Then you got something for your piggy bank.
The Lion stood there and watched us leave. He looked happy, like a hobo in a bubble bath. Well, we went downstairs. We climbed into her convertible. The guy in the parking lot had to take a walk around the block when she flashed him a smile. I asked her about lunch. She said no. I asked her about dinner. She said something that meant no. It's like that sometimes. The flag's up, the meter's ticking, and you get nowhere. But from a couple of things she told me, I got the idea that she was doing more than help the prince read minds. His place turned out to be a good hour from Los Angeles up 101. A couple of stories of glass and concrete leaning out over the ocean. Inside, a guy in a white turban and some pants that looked like oversized diapers put his hand on a big curved knife he had in his belt. He was wearing tennis shoes.
Right this way, Mr. Regan.
Butcher?
That's Guinea, the prince's manservant. He's from India.
I bet the Indians were glad to get rid of him.
Guinea's harmless, tongueless, and he doesn't hear. I like you, Mr. Regan. And this is the prince's study.
Come in. Oh, come in.
This is Mr. Regan.
Of course. Welcome, sir, welcome. The Lion's Eye. I'm honored, sir. Please sit down. That'll be all, Lena?
Of course. I'll be in my office.
Charming girl, Lena.
She handle all your outside contacts?
Except for those matters I must attend to personally. Mr. Regan, I'm in trouble.
It's paid for.
I want you to save my life.
You look healthy.
I am healthy, let me assure you. But my life has been threatened.
They got police departments.
I thought you understood. This is a delicate matter. We aren't here to discuss me.
Who's the guy?
It's a lady, Mr. Regan. A very beautiful and lovely creature. And she'd like nothing better than to see my carcass go out with the tide.
How do you know?
She's erratic, ill-tempered, and ruthless.
Any more?
Yes, she called me this morning and told me what she intended to do.
You got a chance to reach for your gun.
To reach for you, Mr. Regan. Now, I feel the entire matter could be settled amicably if you were to call on her and inform her you are my personal bodyguard and that you are here to protect my life.
What makes you figure she'd go for that?
It's worth a try. And besides, I'm paying.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me how long you've been blackmailing her.
Blackmail? What do you mean?
Oh, your racket might last 6 months, a year, but not long enough to build a place like this. The answer's blackmail.
My dear fellow, Okay, so I should have told you.
Give it to me.
Well, I can slip them into a trance. They spill a family secret or two.
What kind of secrets?
Any kind. They want their minds read. I read them. $25 a hit.
Where does the shakedown come in?
When I tell them what they told me.
You been putting the squeeze on her?
She's an actress. She was in on a deal at the studios.
And she won't shake.
She said she'd blow my head off. Look, I'm in a spot, Reagan. She's the kind who'd do it and make love to the jury.
Give me a name.
Doris Patrick. Ever heard of her?
Where's she live?
Palisades. Here's her address.
All right.
You going over to talk to her now?
Well, she isn't gunning for me.
Oh, thanks a lot, Reagan. You know, I've been sweating.
It's real good for a cold.
Yeah, I'll try and catch one.
You guys yell real loud when they answer back.
I'm just thinking of my future, Reagan. I won't look good dead.
I left him sitting there scratching his bald head under his turban. He looked unhappy, like somebody'd fed him a Vaseline sandwich. Well, I climbed in my car, and I followed the highway to the turnoff back to Sunset. The Malibu fog was coming in for the winter, and by the time I got to the address Nemo had given me, I was looking around for my hands. Doris Patrick's place was too big for a marble game and too small for football. There was a wire fence all around it and a sign every 15 or 20 feet or so that said, "Not to trespass." I parked in the boulevard and walked up the driveway. It was about then that a guy in a blue suit showed up. He was tall and heavy, and he thought a lot of his hat. He pulled down on the brim, blew smoke in my face, and kind of nudged me with his shoulder.
Move on, Pilgrim. We don't want any.
How do you know?
We're waiting for the 49s. Scram, huh?
You aren't even on the list.
All right, we'll wait for the 50s. Blow.
I came to see Doris Patrick.
Yeah, what for?
You her?
Sure. What do you want?
Business.
Shop closed.
You always like this, or you miss lunch today?
Look, I don't know who you are, Pilgrim, but you don't understand English.
Well, I know you. There's something about a guy in the lineup.
Yeah?
He memorizes easy.
Cop?
Private.
Private or city, you all smell the same to me.
Hunting season's over. You always carry a .38, do you?
Oh, that's showing?
Well, maybe you got a broken rib.
Well, I met all kinds of funny guys.
I said I wanted to see her.
Ain't in.
Watchdog?
Now you're getting smart.
Well, you aren't.
What kind of crack is that?
Just this. I'm going in.
Trick I learned a long time ago. You shoot a guy in the knee and he don't ever walk straight again.
Ever done it, punk?
Oh, sure. That's how I learned.
Mm-hmm. That's when I learned, baby. He slumped against the side of the wall, and he looked tired, like he'd been running from Compton. Well, I left him there, and I went up the driveway to the porch. Coming around a blind corner, I bumped into something that kind of relaxed and rolled into me. It was a blonde girl, about 25, in a white polo coat. Well, I was willing to try it again, but she began talking with a voice that was deep enough to go in the oil business.
Oh, I thought you might be running interference, but you look like the whole team.
Whose side are you on, lady?
I keep score.
Doris Patrick?
You're on the right field.
Where's the locker room?
Maybe I like you. Where do you come from?
Right here.
Didn't know we raised your kind anymore. Or did you grow wild?
Do I pass?
What'd you say your name was?
Reagan.
Welcome.
Mm-hmm. Which highway?
Straight ahead. To the den.
It's a nice place you got. When's harvest time?
I said welcome.
That isn't what the tall boy said.
Tall boy?
A blue suit with a .38 and a hat.
That'd be Jesse. I was married to him once.
What about now?
Oh, he hangs around like that sometimes. I never see much of him. Trouble?
No, not much.
You got a lot of size, mister. Must have been good. Do that kind of thing often?
Only when I have to.
Sit down. How do you like it? Soda or water?
Your way.
There now. Isn't that better?
I don't know. This is my first drink.
You'll get another. It's a cold day.
Not in here.
You're quick. Must have a good straight man.
His name's Prince Nemo.
Must we talk about him?
He thinks you're dangerous stuff.
What do you think?
Right now or when I'm a couple of feet away?
Now.
Hey, now look. Remember me? I just got here.
Your name's Reagan, and we're going to get along.
Yeah.
It's in the cards.
You got a fast deck.
Go ahead. Deal.
All right. How much time between rounds?
Yes? Who? Oh, just a minute. You know somebody named Lion?
Yeah.
He has quite a roar. Here.
Yeah.
Who's the name? Where's the phone?
Nemo's friend.
Sounds like he's a friend of yours.
All right, you got something to say?
It's all off.
Check bounce?
It was certified. Nemo called 10 minutes ago and canceled the contract.
Now, what happens now?
Finished, come back to orbit.
Who told you I was here?
The Prince.
It was a quick change.
We got paid.
Well, I already started something.
I don't care what you started. You finish it on your own time and expense sheet.
Bad news?
Well, I'm through working for the day. Well, I was an old friend of the family when I left. She didn't want me to go, but I was thinking about Prince Nemo and the way that nothing made sense. Oh, the whole thing looked phony, like an undertaker in a white derby. It didn't take 20/20 vision to see that somebody was getting anxious to make a play. Well, by the time I got home, I figured I was out of it. But my company had other ideas. It was Jesse, and he had friends.
You should lock your door, Regan.
Why? You'd crawl under.
All right, fellas.
Friends?
Yeah, I just hired him.
You got a parade permit?
Stan, say hello to Regan.
Hello, stupid.
What about Skinny?
Hiya, Grogan.
Hello, stupid.
Name's Reagan. He's a detective. Isn't that right? You're pretty good with your women, Regan.
You know, you look lonesome, Jesse. You got something to say?
Stay away from it.
You're shaking. You want a drink?
Already had one. Stan, Skinny, set him on a bed.
Let go.
Oh, Regan, once more. Once more. Stay away from it.
You said that before.
I want to make sure you understand. Stan, Skinny, hold his arms. I've said all the right words. Maybe my punctuation's bad, huh? Lay off. Period. Lay off. Period. Lay off. Period. Okay. Okay, leave him on the bed.
Hey, he rolled off.
Oh, that's fine. Fine. Now he won't have to change his sheets.
Oh, Jesse was good. When I got up, my face looked like a relief map of Pasadena. He was wearing a signet ring. He left out some of the boulevards, but the Rose Bowl was right out in front. I found a drink in the cabinet, and I started for the mirror to see what was left. It was about then I heard a knock on the door. He was a little guy in a cab driver's suit. It figured that he got the job because they ran out of big uniforms. They double-crossed him on that cap. If it wasn't for his ears, he'd have been wearing his snood.
Hiya.
Yeah?
Football?
What do you want?
Your name, Regan.
That's what it says in the mailbox.
I met a friend of yours today.
Get to the point, will you?
A dame. Named Lena Cara. Yeah, Lena Cara. Some dish.
All right. You're in the register.
Wait, that ain't all. She wants to see you.
What about?
Didn't say. Just said to see if you was home. You home?
Yeah.
I got her down in my cab.
We'll send her up.
I don't think she can make it.
What do you mean?
She looks kind of funny. Maybe you better come down?
She was sitting on the edge of the seat, staring out at nothing. Her back was as stiff as a filing cabinet, and there was a little ring of white around her lips. I paid off the cabbie, and I took her back up to my place without a word. When we closed the door, she was sitting on my sofa the same way. Only this time she had a .25 automatic in her hand.
Well? Well?
Where'd you get the gun, lady?
Gun. Oh, this. I bought it for $30.
Can I see it?
Oh, yes, Mr. Reagan. I brought it so I could show it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I paid $30 for it. Paid $30 for it.
Yeah. It's brand new, isn't it?
Oh, yes, of course. Did you know Prince Nemo was my husband?
Since when?
Long time now. Not many people know that.
Did you come here to tell me that?
No. No, I came to tell you that you don't have to worry anymore.
About what?
About what my husband hired you for?
Well, I've already been called off.
Oh. Oh, I didn't know that. Did you meet Doris Patrick?
Yeah?
than it was about her.
What do you want, lady?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Just that we don't have to worry anymore, do we?
Tell me about the gun.
Doris is very pretty, don't you think? Seen her on the screen many times. I think she's quite pretty. Could hardly blame the prince at all. Could hardly.
Why'd you bring the gun?
Imagine the air would be cleaner there, don't you?
What are you talking about?
It's really very humane, they tell me.
Come on, stop it.
It's just like sitting down and never waking up. I read all about it. Just walk in and sit down. You don't try to hold your breath.
Stop it, sis, stop it. Now listen to me. What is it? What have you done? What are you trying to say?
You don't try to hold your breath. You go right to sleep, don't you?
You're trying to tell me that you killed him?
They don't make such a great deal of noise, do they? With him sitting there in his house by the sea. He looked very much alive, only... He isn't alive at all. Tell me, Mr. Reagan, tell me. Do I make a good murder? Do I?
Well, after she got through screaming, she settled down to a slow, even kind of giggle that started somewhere around her shoelaces and didn't get past her knees. Gave me a feeling like somebody was unwrapping an atomic bomb under a Christmas tree. Well, she wasn't going to do any more talking, so I went downstairs and brought back a doctor friend of mine named Sammy Wing. He had his little black bag with him, and he gave her a shot of something. She wilted like last night's orchid and went to sleep. Sammy wrote down a couple of things, and then he looked up at me.
Some playmate. Wish I'd have been here for the party.
How is she, Sam?
You know her better than me.
Oh, is she going to be all right?
In 4 or 5 hours, she'll wake up and want some water.
And then what?
She might ask you what happened, or it might start all over again. By the way, what was it?
I don't know. She came over to see me.
I should have visitors like this. I've been working too hard.
She said she killed a guy who was a client of mine.
Maybe I'm lucky at that. Why the past tense?
The lion called me off the case.
Official, huh?
Yeah.
You got nobody to protect. Where's the corpse?
At a house in Ocean Town.
Here, call the police. And you and me can go out and do our Christmas shopping.
Oh, she said she used this gun.
A .25, it killed people.
Now, Sammy, there's a bullet jammed in the chamber.
Dames don't know how to reload.
It hasn't been fired.
Ballistics got better ways of telling. She's pretty and she's nice, and I'll bet she looks like $1 million in a bathing suit. But if I'd have met her within the last 3 hours, I'd have run for help.
Is that professional?
Acute hysteria. The kind that pops off guns and people and does a lot of things they can't remember later on. Call Sanducci.
Look, it doesn't figure she'd do it with this.
Maybe she had another one. While you're at it, call the coroner. Tell him to go out there with some DOA forms.
No, I'm going first.
Corpse hunt?
Just an idea.
La Brucherie had an idea.
Yeah.
Thanks, Black Roses.
This dame's bit some.
Thanks for letting me know. Things today was so chaotic. I can't even tell you. I got a channel out there that's copying everything I'm doing. Not copying. They're downloading all of my shows, like Johnny Ryder, Astroville, the Clue Club, and the overnight streams, and putting it on their channel. So I had that all day to deal with, and I don't think YouTube's going to do anything about it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they do, but I wasn't even able to do nothing. I came straight here and started doing this after I reported it and everything else, and now I'm just waiting. Honestly, I am a little, it does aggravate you and piss you off a bit that somebody's doing that. It is what it is. I'm not even going to continue talking about it. I'm just going to hope that YouTube fixes it and takes care of them. Idiots. That's all I can say. Will do. This will be my 5 Hurricane to ride out. Oh boy. Stay safe, Eddie Gonzalez. Stay safe, bud. And thank you again, Black Roses, for letting me know. I feel bad. People were waiting for 24 minutes. It is what it is. On with The Man Who Lived by the Sea. And I'm getting through this bag pretty quickly, too. I'm almost there, guys. Almost there.
And she's told you her story.
Well, I don't like it.
What do they do when a private eye messes up an open and shut murder case?
Sammy, stay with her, will you? There's some bourbon out in the kitchen.
Maybe both of us will get our pictures in the papers.
I left him sitting there. He looked sad, like a water buffalo caught in a drought. I pushed through the fog for about 40 minutes, and I pulled up in front of Nemo's place in Ocean Town about 9:30. It was dark enough to give a ghost the creeps. I used that ring of keys that I'd taken from her purse, and I went inside. It smelled dry and still, like somebody was waiting for the world to fall apart. I clicked on my flash, and I walked down the long hall to his office. Well, he was there, just like she said. And there were 3 holes in the front of his shirt, close range, but it wasn't the laundry's fault. He'd been dead maybe 2 hours. The desk drawer showed some canceled checks made out to Doris Patrick. While I was thinking that over, I spotted a .38 Smith & Wesson on the floor by his hand. Lynn had been carrying a .25. I broke it, and 3 cartridges fell out. From the looks of the holes in his chest, the .38 was the gun for the job. Well, that made her story and the .25 a fairy tale. While I was kneeling there, a light went on behind me. A fat man wearing a sheriff's star was standing by the switch. A tall leather jacket with a flashlight in his hand was in front of me. I began to feel helpless, like a trombone player with a short arm.
Scavenger hunt, son? You don't talk, Charlie.
Ain't much for him to say, is there, Cap?
Guess not. Well, son,
You're going to be calling me names.
what do you like best? Killer, murderer, slayer? Papers use slayer a lot.
I don't like any of them.
Kind of breezy for a hot boy, ain't you? You mind giving me a name?
Reagan. I'm with the International Detective Bureau.
It's Reagan, Cap. He's with the International Detective Bureau.
Got a card or something, son?
Yeah? Here.
Oh. This guy here, a friend of yours?
My client once.
What'd you do for him? Okay, tell me this. Why'd you plug him?
There's another story.
Any good?
Better than the one you got.
You'll have a hard time selling it.
It's a fix.
Oh, why you want to say a thing like that?
How long you been on the force?
Easy, Regan. Me and Cap's being nice.
Phone call a little while ago. Funny kind of voice. Said we'd find a stiff here. We didn't say we'd find you.
Yeah, you're extra.
The dame who worked for him told me.
You tell homicide?
No?
That was a mistake. Where's this girl now? Name? Charlie, call a coroner. Ocean Town is just a small place. Only me and Charlie around. We borrow from the county when we get something like this.
Well, I can find you a real answer in an hour.
You got ideas?
Lots of them.
You can tell me all about them later. We got a corpse, we got a suspect. You know that's good. Even a weapon.
I'll have an alibi when you check the time of death.
We'll worry about that later on. All right, son, let's go.
Well, I had about as much chance as an elephant in a tea room if those 2 locked me and booked me. I leaned back into his gun, spun around, knocked his wrist down. He pulled the trigger. But I'd already hit the light switch, and he was making rockets in the dark. I left my car there and cut across the highway and doubled back up the hill. They spread out in the wrong direction. An hour later, I was standing in front of the lion's door. He was wrapped in a bathrobe big enough to keep all the silkworms working overtime.
What do you want, Regan?
Information.
You been drinking?
I've been working.
That Lena Cara see you?
You sent her.
She called me and said she wanted to hire you for something else.
After Nemo canceled the contract.
Yeah, why?
You gave her my address.
I thought you ought to talk to her. What she want?
She told me that she killed the prince.
She can't do that. We got a contract.
Well, it's already been done.
We're on a spot.
Yeah, I figured that'd get through to you.
They'll be asking me all kinds of questions.
Well, why didn't you think of that before you signed?
What are we going to do?
You're going to find out where this 25 came from and if anybody fired it.
Huh?
She was carrying it when she came to me.
I don't want to get involved.
Well, you're in it up to your ears. I went out there and found the prince. Only a 38 might have done the job.
Yeah? Well, that cleans her up.
Not yet. The Ocean Town sheriff and a guy named Charlie are looking for me.
What for?
They think I know something.
Do you?
Not yet. There was a tip-off. Somebody was supposed to be a patsy.
Where's Cara now?
My place with Sammy Wing.
I'm going to get a lawyer. It'll look good.
All right, give me the keys to your car.
Why?
I got a date.
Find out who fogged Nemo and we won the championship.
Yeah. You'll have to give the cup back. You cheated. I drove back out to Doris Patrick's place in the Palisades, and I rang the bell and waited. It took her a while, but she showed. She was wearing a filmy kind of a thing that made a spider's web look like canvas. I began to feel warm, like a sun lamp on a picture set.
We had a date at 9 o'clock.
I broke my watch.
Come in, I'll see if I can fix it. I'm great with a Swiss movement.
Yeah, it shows.
We were going to look at the stars together.
How long you been here?
I gave you up at 10. Tell me, how do you like my new dress?
It's the right color, but the wrong cut for a funeral.
I haven't read the obituaries today.
No, it'll be in tomorrow's paper.
Have a drink and let's wait for tomorrow.
Your friend Nemo was killed tonight.
He was no friend of mine, I told you that.
So did he.
Did he fall off his house?
Murdered.
We've been having fun up to now.
You know, you'll be first guess.
I don't think I like that.
He tried to blackmail you.
The story's backwards.
Well, that's the way it
Give
comes
a
out.
little prayer for
Why?
you there, Eddie.
You
Stay
got
safe,
another one?
bud.
He never tried to blackmail me.
Mm-hmm.
I blackmailed him.
How?
I went to him one day and put him in a trance. Only I used scotch. I found out what he was doing and how he was doing it, so I turned the tables. It was good, clean fun, but expensive for him.
Well, now, if he was your meal ticket, then you have an alibi, huh?
There'd be canceled checks somewhere.
Right where I could find him.
I'm telling you the truth.
Where does Jesse fit?
Oh, I told you we were married once. He's jealous.
Did he know about Nemo?
Maybe.
He was watchdog when I came out.
I told you... Jesse.
Hello, gorgeous. I still have a key.
What do you want?
You?
Get out.
You still tramping with his tramp?
Just in time, Jesse.
You know, you didn't listen good. I told you to lay off.
Where's your friend?
Paid off. I'm handling this alone.
We've been finished for a long time.
Oh, it's starting up again, Angel. Or didn't you know Nemo was dead?
I saw your 38 tonight, Jesse.
Ah, you're wrong. It's her 38. It's got her prints on it.
What do you mean?
I put him there. And you're going to be tagged for his murder, Angel. You see, you're sort of in a spot.
Reagan.
Easy, baby. This punk never did anything right.
Oh? Tell me how wrong I've been.
All right, that tip the Ocean Town cops was wrong. Killing Nemo was wrong.
Ah, you're twisted, Pilgrim. Cops got a warrant out for you right now. Yeah, I heard it on the car radio. Murder suspect. Plugging you is something they'll thank me for.
With her prints on the gun?
Well, how was I to know? I just see you and plug you. Everybody will be sorry, but it'll be manslaughter and suspended. It's pretty right, isn't it?
Well, what about me?
A friend of mine shoving off at Pedro tonight, Angel. Going all over the world. We'd be together. Well, Angel, do I plug him and meet you somewhere in 2 weeks, huh?
All right.
Move over, Regan. The lady's making up her mind. Now, where do you like?
Oh, it was a real photo finish. Just as Jesse set the gun up against my head, Doris pulled a gun from the desk drawer and threw a couple of fast ones into him. Jesse tried for her. I'd call it a dead heat, but you'd have to give Doris the edge. Her first slug cut him down like a blade of grass, but she didn't give up.
Angel!
He's all used up.
Never shot anyone before.
Hey, sweet Indigo.
You look like a professional. Give me the gun.
He deserved to die. Didn't he? Didn't he?
I don't know, lady. You knew him better. Well, it all unwound like red thread in a Levi factory. Nemo told me his phony story so he'd have a good self-defense angle when he finally got around to killing Doris Patrick some afternoon. Jesse worked for him to keep me out, but I bounced him and got inside. When Jesse phoned Nemo about it, Nemo called the Lion and had me jerked before we could compare notes. I guess Jesse went kind of crazy when he saw how well we got along. He got an idea and killed Nemo and made Doris a patsy with those fingerprints. Lena Cara? Well, she went kind of crazy, too. She found Nemo dead and got the idea she did it. It took 3 doctors a couple of days to tell her what really happened. And the Lion was mad when he found out there wasn't any money in it. But then when he saw Doris Patrick's picture in the paper, he got kind of curious. He asked just one question. What did I do all that afternoon I was out in her house? Well, I didn't even bother to answer him.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan with Herb Butterfield as Anthony J. Lyon. The story of the man who lived by the sea returned tonight by special request and was written by E. Jack Newman, produced by Sterling Tracy. In tonight's cast, the role of Doris Patrick was played by Yvonne Patey. Also heard Sidney Miller, Peggy Weber, Paul Frees, Marvin Miller, and Barry Kroger. Music for this program is by Milton Charles. This is Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Hey, everybody, Sweet Indigo, what's going on? Good to see you. Another Jeff Reagan there played just now. I'm in the process of, hey, it's Dave Plouffe. What's going on, Dave? Man, all the stuff in between that you guys missed in the build. Good to see you, me and Dave Plouffe tomorrow night. We will be talking Bob Lazar, Area 51. Remembering Art Bell, so a paranormal show tomorrow. Looking forward to that, Dave. Got a channel out there that's taking all my stuff and putting it up on their channel. Even the stuff that like I wrote and stuff like that, like the Clue Club, Astroville, Johnny Ryder, you name it. All the short urban legend, they're putting it all up on their channel, and reported it and everything, and we shall see what happens. But anyways, Bob Lazar tomorrow. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm working on the windows on the very top floor, which will be right, the top floor will be right like that, and then the roof. So it's getting there. I've got one more window to build. Sometimes when you got to do multiple like that, like 3 in a row of the same intricate build of the window, it's repetitive a little bit, but there you go. Anyways, yeah, I'm almost done with this bag now, and then I can go to 14, and then the roof, and then I'm done. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I got one more window. Let's see, what can I play? Do I do another Jeff Reagan or... Jeff Reagan. Why do I keep saying Reagan? Regan. Dino, are you going to play the ghost robbing the handicap? Okay, let me see. I think that episode sounded clear. That's when I didn't... let's see. Black. Ghost core. Let me go back here. Ghost. Ghost core is what it was, I think, or was it Black Ghost? Let's see. Come on, buffering. Let's see. Get it. Yeah, I'll see how the quality sounds. As long as it sounds good, then we can do that. I listened to a couple of our past Remembering Art Bells. They were awesome. Yes, they were, Dave. I mean, without a doubt. Okay, not that one. Let's see. It's Black Ghost. A mysterious apparition has been robbing cripples. So let's I can see how it sounds. If it sounds really rough, then I'm not going to play it, but yeah, let's play Black Ghost. It's from the 1930s, so it is what it is. And then I got one more window to do, and then I'll continue on to bags 14. Let's see. Black Ghost, a mysterious apparition has been robbing cripples. This will be good. Let's see. How's it sound? It's 12 minutes. Is it good enough to play?
Give me a lemonade. Make it sweet. Ain't you scared to guzzle such powerful liquor on such a hot night? I take some terrible chances that way, old-timer, but I was raised to it. Nominate your boys. Maybe they got something here more suited to attend to your superior judgment and wisdom.
Yes, spoke like a gentleman. I'll be dead hammered if it weren't. And accepted as such. Make it red-eye straight, Tim.
Look out there, old timer. Don't you spill a drop of that stuff on your beard. You don't want to start a conflagration.
Well, it might save a barber bill at that. I ain't mingled with a barber for 5 months.
Working a claim way out, huh?
No, I've been prospecting.
I don't like the sound of that. Sorry, Black Roses. We'll go to oh, geez, I'm belching. We'll go to something else. I'm sorry. That just does not sound good. Maybe I'll, clean it up and see how it is. What can I play while I continue this? Let's see. I've got let's see, Black Castle, the Black Book. Black Mask, Black Soul, Blair of the Mounties. Now I wanna play a good one. Any ideas on what we should do? Let's see. It's okay. Thank you for trying. Yeah, no, it just sounded too bad. Johnny Dollar? Want some more Johnny Dollar? Okay, let's do $1. Let's see. Let me go to yours truly, Johnny Dollar. I should play. Let's see, Bob Bailey, or should I go with John Lund? Bob Bailey, but I'm not doing the 15-minute ones. I'm going to have to go down to one of the older ones he did, the single episodes. So I'm looking. Let's do the Heatherstone Players Matter, the Felicity Feline Matter, the Funny Money Matter. Let's try that one. The Funny Money Matter. I think this sounds okay.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Yeah, we'll do this one.
Johnny Dollar.
George Reed here.
Oh, hello, Georgie. How's Floyd's of England doing these days?
If payments keep on the way they started this morning, the company will go broke.
What's that mean?
One of our old clients, quite a character, by the way.
Oh, now wait, George. For just once, give me a case involving some nice, ordinary, normal person.
No, Johnny.
First, it was that old fuss-budget Jediah Gillis.
Yes, but
Then
now...
big bad Michael Meany, who thought he owned half the state of Louisiana.
Well, yes, I know, but compared to them, Durango Laramie Dalhart is as normal as they come.
Durango what?
Except for one thing, of course. The payment of his insurance premium this morning.
What was the matter with it?
$4,500, Johnny, in $100 bills. They're still here on my desk.
$100 bills? You call this character normal?
Listen, will you? Every one of these bills is counterfeit.
Oh. I'll be right over.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Floyd's of England, North American offices, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Funny Money Matter. Expense account item 1, $1 even, taxi from my apartment to George Reed's office. I found him sitting, staring grimly at a pile of paper money spread around on the top of his desk.
Well, there they are, Johnny. 45 $100 bills, and every one of them as phony as I've ever seen. Look at them.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Whoever turned these out didn't even have sense enough to use the proper kind of ink. Yeah, it looks like he must have diluted it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen such washed-out-looking money in all your life?
Good tough paper, though. Just like the real
It's bad funny
real
money.
Crisp and new. But, Johnny, look at those colors. Even the black isn't really black.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd at least have tried to wrinkle them up a bit and dirty them.
Yeah.
This is the most obviously flagrant... What are you looking at, Johnny?
Well, this is unusual. For counterfeit, that is.
What?
Well, they've all been printed up with different serial numbers. See? Here. And here. Huh? How about that? Pretty smart.
Funny, isn't it? The thing that usually makes this stuff easy to spot is the same number on all the bills.
Sure.
And whoever made these was clever enough to think of that. Had sense enough to use good paper, too.
Uh-huh.
But he certainly slipped up when it came to the color and quality of the ink. As for the press work...
Well, I don't pretend to know much about phony money, George.
Who needs to?
And heavens knows I don't see too many $100 bills. But to me, this engraving looks just about perfect.
That's just what I'm saying. Perfect plates, sense enough to change the numbers, good paper. Yet look at the result.
Yeah. Has he ever tried anything like this before?
What? Durango?
Yeah. And just for the sake of the record, what is his real name?
That's it. Durango Laramie Dalhart.
Oh, I can't believe it.
And the answer to your first question is no. Durango is as honest as the day is long.
Well, maybe you mean he was.
Well, maybe. But if so, I want to know why. There'd have to be a mighty good reason, believe me.
Running out of dough is the best one I can think of.
But he's always had plenty. After all, $4,500 to spend on insurance year after year.
Well, just who is he? And where is he?
He lives on a ranch in Oklahoma.
What kind of a ranch?
I don't know. But it must be awfully big.
Where in Oklahoma?
A place called Bum Spung.
Bum Spung?
Yes.
Oh, now look, George. This whole thing is beginning to get a little too thick. Durango, Bum Spung, Laramie Dalhart, whatever it is. Look, counterfeit money is for the Secret Service for her, so why don't you just put in a phone call to them and let them carry the ball?
No.
Why?
Because of Durango. I simply can't believe he'd deliberately hand over a lot of phony money. He's been paying on that policy for years.
Always in cash?
Always in cash. Crisp, new, legitimate $100 bills. Up till now.
Were you here when he left these?
No. Now, look, Johnny, if somebody is trying to take him, it's up to us to protect him.
Oh, that's a big if, George, from where I stand.
Johnny, we've always tried to give more personal service to our clients than some of the other companies. Look, I want you to investigate this thing for us, without Durango's knowing, of course, on a fee plus expense account basis.
Oh, an extra fee? That's not usual, George.
With you, it is. You know as well as I do, the padding that goes on your expense account is plenty fee for anybody.
Oh, George, you cut me to the quick. All right, where is where is Mr. Dalhart now?
Back in Bum Spung, Oklahoma, or at least on the way.
But I thought he just left this money this morning.
Every year he follows the same pattern. Comes east for a fling. You know, New York and all the nightclubs, that sort of thing. Then, just before leaving, he drops in here, makes his premium payment, and is gone. So?
George, I still think you should have called in the Secret Service. But I'll take this on for just one reason.
What's that?
I want to find out what kind of a place could ever deserve the name of Bum Spung. Since George had already arranged for plane travel as far as Enid, Oklahoma, item 2 is a mere $8.55 for incidentals along the way. I arrived in Enid shortly after noon. Item 3, $2.60 for lunch. Item 4, $50 deposit on a rental car. And the owner of the Drive Your Own agency wore a silly little smile as he gave me the directions to Bum Spung. Anyway, I headed due north on Highway 81 across the Oklahoma flatland. Some 26 miles or so further on, after passing through Pond Creek and crossing the Salt Fork of the Arkansas River, I spotted a rather crude, weather-beaten sign indicating that the place I was looking for was somewhere up a dirt road to the left. Road? That's a laugh. And it twisted and turned for seemingly endless rough miles along the riverbank. I just about decided that Bum Spung was a bum steer when suddenly I almost ran into the gate of an old wooden fence, surrounding some 2 or 3 acres of sandy ground. And there they were. A huge, ramshackle, unpainted building that passed for a house. An even more dilapidated affair, propped up with timbers that probably served as a barn. There were a couple of broken-down outbuildings, too. And on a small irrigated plot in the back, 2 cows. Steers? Well, anyway, 2 rather sad-looking bovines munched on the faded grass. There were some decrepit-looking chickens, a mangy old dog. There was a horse of sorts in a small corral. The windmill, its whole tower sagged with fatigue, and the rudder on it slapped idly against the broken vanes. But right next to it, in complete contrast, stood a spanking new Cadillac convertible. And on the other side of the house, hanging some flimsy pretties on a clothesline, she was maybe 23 or 4, a brunette, and wearing a pair of well-tailored white riding breeches and a tight flowered silk blouse. She was slim, and she was pretty, and had a couple of rosebuds tucked in her hair.
Hi.
And about as out of place as anything I ever saw.
I said hi.
It was like seeing the vision of a goddess.
Come on in. This way,
that post that you left. It's what Durango called the gate.
Oh, yeah. Durango, did you say? Don't tell me this is bum spunk.
It sure is. Didn't you see the sign down the road? The vast acreage within this broken-down fence is the cattle ranch of Durango Laramie Dahlhart, who happens to be my uncle. I'm Carol Dahlhart. Who are you?
Why, my name's Johnny Dollar.
Dollar? That seems to me I've heard that somewhere.
Oh?
What are you doing out here?
Oh, just driving around, summer vacation.
You look like a city man.
I was intrigued by that sign down the road. Curious about what bum spunk could mean.
Bad water. Bad spring, so the Indians called it Bum Spunk.
Ah.
Durango liked the name, so he bought up these 2 acres and settled here.
And this is all there is to his ranch?
What's the matter with it? He likes it.
But I'd had an idea. Well.
Yeah?
Nothing. From what you've told me, I think I'd like to meet Durango. Is he around?
You trying to kid me or something? I haven't told you anything about him. Now look, Johnny Dollar. Yeah, look!
Suddenly she turned, drew an old Colt 45, and as I ducked, she let go with it. Holy!
I got him, see?
She got him all right. A small snake that had poked up out of a hole in the ground some 25 feet away. And she got him right through the head with both shots.
Oh, God darn, rattlesnake?
Rattlesnakes? That looks to me like a poor old gopher snake. What's left of him.
So what's the difference? Could have been a rattlesnake.
Hey, you were plenty fast with that gun.
Yeah, gotta be. Or old Durango wouldn't have me on the place. It's no use for anybody to... Hand me a couple of those clothespins, will you? I gotta get these things hung up.
Yeah, sure. Here. You said you're his niece.
That's right. Only one left to take care of the old buzzard.
You live here with him?
Part of the time. Well, enough to look after him, make sure he don't get lonely, that he's got enough food in the house, that kind of thing. And I stick around when he goes out on the West Coast or back east for a fling.
That's where he is now.
Yeah, and he's due back. Hand me that slip out of the laundromat.
Sure. Here you are. I take it that convertible's yours, huh?
Yeah, that was my birthday present.
Oh, your family must be pretty well heeled.
Family? Me and Durango, we're all that's left. Give me them stockings now.
Sure. But certainly Durango...
Why not? He gives me a new one every year.
And this ranch is all he owns?
Except for his money. Says he has a barrel of it.
Well, he must have. Or else,
Or else, what?
nothing. Go on with what you were saying.
More clothes.
Okay, yeah, Jeff Reagan, is definitely a good one, Chris, along with Pat Novak for hire, Jack Webb too. Great one-liners. Okay, I'm working on the roof now. We got the bakery. We have a gym. We have an apartment complex with a balcony. And the next thing I'm building, bags 14 and 15, are the roof, and I'm done. And wow, I can't believe I got through another one. Yeah, listen, if there's not a stream overnight tonight, it's because I'm just trying to deal with what's going on with that other channel and stuff, but because I'm a little upset over it. But anyways, just giving a heads up for anybody who's listening right now. And hopefully I can get back tomorrow and they can get that taken down and all that. And me and Dave will be up tomorrow for our thing. Oh, Pat Novak is great, especially for the dames, yeah, and the fisticuffs. But the one-liners is what does it. But, man, this looks good so far. I love this. This is fantastic. Oh, I love everything about it. Anyways, but I will do a sum up when I'm totally done with it anyways. But, yeah, let's continue with this Johnny Dollar episode.
Yeah, here.
And when he kicks off, I get it all. And I can give up the filling station.
Filling station?
Well, you must have passed it, just the side of Enid. Durango says a woman's no good unless she's got a job, so I got a filling station. Let somebody else run it for me, though, and Durango don't know the difference. Or at least he don't care. The main thing is I'm around to keep him happy and give him somebody to cuss at now and then. And say, why am I shooting off my face to you this way?
I don't know, but don't stop.
There. Them clothes will be dry in an hour, and if you're still here, you can help me take them down again.
Okay.
Carry that basket for me, and I'll give you a cool drink in the house.
Hey, great. You say Durango's due back here, huh?
Mm-hmm. Why, don't save yourself time traveling by plane instead of train, I'll never... Johnny, if you're just around here on vacation, I'll eat my shirt. Why'd you come here? And don't give me any guff.
All right, come on. Pour me that drink and I'll tell you.
Now, I'll tell you. If you're here to pull something on... Oh!
What's that?
Son of a dog blasted gopher. Oh,
Easy now, easy.
Don't you easy now, me. I busted my ankle.
Oh, it's just a little sprain. Here, arm over my shoulder.
Okay. Dang fool that I was to kill that gopher snake back there. Oh, Johnny, it hurts.
Then I'll carry you. Here now.
Oh, that's better. And hey, boy, you got muscles.
Here now. Huh? What the?
Well, take me over to the sofa. What's the matter, Johnny?
What stopped me was the inside of the ramshackle old house. Clean, modern, well-furnished. Even the kitchen with its gleaming porcelain, electric range, huge refrigerator, and freezer. Modern in every way.
Well, don't just stand there staring. Get some water, hot and cold, for this ankle. While you're at it, pour us a
Don't
drink
just
at the bar
stand
over
there.
in the corner.
Do something.
I could use a good, stiff snort.
I did what I could to reduce the swelling in her ankle. But by the time I'd taped it up and she was snoozing comfortably on the sofa, it was getting dark. So I hied myself into the well-stocked kitchen to see what I could scratch up to eat. And I'll be honest about it. With this mighty attractive patient on my hands, I'd completely forgotten about my mission in these parts, the investigation of one Durango Laramie Dollheart. I wasn't allowed to forget it long, though. As I opened and was about to reach into the ample freezer...
Stop right there, you.
Huh?
There's only one way to deal with a thieving, stealing, dirty varmint like you.
Now, wait a minute. Put that thing down.
And that, partner, is this way.
Holy, no. Hey, no, you're out of your... No!
Act Two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
A number of years ago, it was said that, in spite of the large population of this planet, men and women remain the most inaccessible things on it. Today, we see this lack of understanding among peoples of the world reflected in headline stories. But it isn't because the people of the world are enemies. All people want to be friends. Long before the termination of World War II, Reverend Eugene Wood, a Methodist minister from Oceanside, California, went into a Scottsdale, Arizona camp where German prisoners of war were interned and offered his services to the imprisoned men. Among other things, Reverend Wood taught the men English, and he taught them about the United States of America. During the following years, after the men had been repatriated to their native Germany, nearly half of the internees corresponded frequently with Reverend Wood. Those men expressed a unique understanding of the people and the country of the United States of America. This great feeling of friendship and understanding prompted the minister to make a pilgrimage to Europe to seek out the men he had befriended in the prisoner of war camp in Arizona. This gesture on Reverend Wood's part gained him a fantastic welcome everywhere he went. In all the places he visited, he spread the gospel of love and friendship and had it returned to him. There were no enemies, only men with the love of freedom, the right of all men, everywhere.
And now, Act Two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Funny Money Matter.
Robbing my house, eh, you
No.
thief?
Now, wait a minute.
Not my old Durango's around.
Durango, you old maverick!
Watch it.
Cut out that shooting while I'm trying to sleep.
Ain't had a chance like this in years.
Will you cut it out?
Quit it! Cut it out, I say!
Enough. Me, too.
Take a swing at me, will you?
Right. Holy Moses.
Okay.
Yeah, and here's your gun. Keep it in your pocket where it belongs.
Sure.
Now, what was the big idea?
Well, whenever you bring one of these fancy boyfriends of yours around to my house, I got a right to have a little fun with them, ain't it?
Fun? Is this your idea of fun?
Crazy gall darn fun. Look what you did to the stove. You blowed it full of holes.
Yeah, the old wood stove would have held up. Here, buy yourself another one. There's $500 nice new dollars.
Hey, wait, let me see
Now, what about
those.
that window and the jars on the shelf?
Okay, here. You should have saw him when I started throwing that lid all around him.
Sure. Here, Johnny, let me wipe off some of that jam that fell on your head.
Johnny? Johnny who?
Johnny Dollar. And I take it you're Durango Laramie Dollheart.
Nah, sure am. Fastest shot in the country, too. My pa learned how in Durango, my ma learned how in Laramie, and I'm better than both of them was. Only thing is, I get no chance to show off no more.
Durango, you crazy idiot. What's the idea?
No harm, man, no harm. Yeah, take a slug of this. You forget all about it.
I'll get a glass.
Glass, a man drinks out of the bottle. Go ahead, Johnny.
Oh, well, thanks.
Bad enough a he-man has to live around all this feminine fripsy and lace curtains and rugs all over the floor and
You know,
stuff.
Dad, blame well, you like the way I fixed up this old dumpy ears Durango.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Look, you two.
Yeah, you know dang well a man gets tired just sitting around, no matter how pretty it is. Why else do you suppose I got to get away every now and then to San Francisco or New York or some of them places where they got some noise and excitement? Is that right, Johnny Dollar?
Just leave him out of this.
Why? What's he doing here, anyhow?
Well, Durango,
I'll tell you why. Because he's just driving around on his vacation and he happened to get to the end of the road and I made him come in. That's why.
Thanks, girl.
You got any objections?
Now, I'll say this. He's got a lot more get-up and guts than most of the boys you bring around here. That larrup on the chin he give me is...
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that, Durango.
Sorry for what? Because you didn't act like some of them lily-livered kids she brings around and run for home? No, sir, boy, you're all right. Cheryl, what the Sam Hill you got on your foot?
Well, it's high time you noticed.
Well, what happened to it?
I like to have busted my ankle and I go for a hole, and if it hadn't been for Johnny, I'd still be laying out in the yard howling with pain.
Yeah, me, I'd seen that happen. I thought she'd broke her leg. I'd liable to took her out and shot her. But Johnny, boy, you done a real good job on my little ticket. Here, honey, I have to get back on the sofa.
No, now, let Johnny. He's a lot gentler. And besides, well, I kind of like him.
You hear that, Johnny? You better look out when a pretty girl starts talking to you like that. You're sure fixing to get lassoed and thrown.
Well, I can think of a lot worse things.
Durango, you just shut up and fix us up some victuals. We're hungry.
Yeah, sure. No sooner than I get back here and some woman starts giving me orders.
Take it easy now, girl.
Oh, I don't need help. I'm feeling fine now. I just wanted to talk to you.
Hey, you should have stayed on that sofa.
What, missed all the fun?
Fun? You too? You know.
Oh, thanks. Hey, sit beside me, Johnny.
Well, sure. Why not?
Now, none of that mush stuff. That isn't what I meant. Oh, I can't say as I'd mind it with you, Johnny.
Well, now, if that isn't an invitation,
Hey, get some nice steaks, a couple of chops, maybe some pancakes and beans to fill you up. Be all right?
Just make it good and take your time. Or shall I do it?
Yeah, woman, I can cook better than you any time.
Oh. Well,
Johnny, before you start that...
What's the matter with some lights in there, you kids? It's getting dark.
Oh.
Just mind your own affairs.
And I warn you, Johnny, you better watch out for yourself.
Yeah, I'll risk it, Durango. You don't, want the light, do you, Carol?
You know what I want?
What?
I don't know why you come out here to bum spung.
Can't I wait?
Dollar, I bet you got somewhere else to go, and it'll be pretty late by the time we met. Or I might as well bunk here tonight. Got plenty of room. What do you say?
Johnny?
Sure, Durango. Thanks a lot. No, Carol.
You haven't answered my question, John.
Tomorrow. I'll tell you tomorrow when we can be alone.
Aren't we we alone now?
Oh, not as much as I wish we were.
You're mighty cute guy, Johnny.
Oh, you don't know me, Carol. I'm really just an old wolf.
Oh, I don't believe that. I don't know.
Johnny's got some spunk going on
One of the
here.
roses fell out of my hair. There it is.
With buds of roses in her hair and kisses on her mouth.
What's that? Pretty.
Just a line from an old poem.
It's getting steamy there. What's going on, Johnny Dollar? You got
About the rest.
an expense report. Come on.
Find out.
You kids want to bell down on the jump while you're waiting?
Oh,
Oh, why don't you tend to your cooking? Johnny?
That Durango, he certainly puts together a meal in a hurry. Too much of a hurry. And the meal itself, enough for an army. And to see him pack it away, you'd think he'd been out on the range for years.
Yes, sir. Nothing like coming home to give you an appetite. Here, scoop yourself up some more beans, Johnny.
I still hadn't made any progress in my investigation and encouraged him to talk about himself. He did, willingly. And how much of it was true was something else again. Said he left his father's little farm in Colorado to hunt for gold. Said he found it, too, a lot of it. Claimed he'd used that money exploring for oil, wildcatting. That everything he touched had turned to money. That he'd made and banked so much he could never spend it all. That's why he'd go on those flings to San Francisco and New York, just to get rid of it. Then come back here to this little plot of ground and rest up for the next excursion to the big city. His only regret was he was too old to make the new West like the old West.
Yes, sir. If I was 20 years younger, I'd ride a horse into Dodge City and show all them law and order. I'd show them just exactly how it was in the old days. Like I read about in them magazines.
But if all this were true, why the counterfeit money? Those phony, washed-out $100 bills I'd seen on George Reed's desk. The bed in the guest room was as comfortable as my own, but I couldn't get to sleep. Fortunately, for long after the house was dark, it must have been close to midnight, I heard the door of Durango's room open, heard him sneak out of the house the back way. Quickly, as quietly as I could, I slipped on trousers and shoes, took along my gun, and went after him. From the back porch, I could see that there was a light on in one of the small outbuildings. With my ear pressed tightly to the side of the little shack, I could hear it only too plainly. The printing press on which Durango was turning out the phony money. No question about it. And I was sorry. Kind of begun to like the old character. To say nothing of his beautiful...
Johnny.
Huh? Carol.
What are you doing out here? If it's a walk in the moonlight you want, why didn't you ask me to
Carol.
come with you?
Carol, listen. I'll lay my cards right on the table. What I really came to this place for was to find out... Well, it was right here inside this little shack.
Oh, no.
And now that I've found out,
Johnny, you'll break his heart. He thinks nobody knows about this.
Oh, of course he does.
He's been doing it ever since... And he thinks that even I don't know about
I'll bet.
Oh, Johnny, please, you'll spoil everything.
Why not? It's about time, isn't it?
He means no harm to anybody.
What do you mean, no harm? Are you kidding? Or maybe you're in this whole thing with him. Are you?
Oh, no, but I don't see what difference it would make. Johnny, baby,
Oh, don't pull that stuff. It's time for a showdown.
Hey, what's the racket? What's going on, huh? Oh. Snooping, huh? Why, you ornery, low-down, sneaking coyote.
All right, Durango. Just cut it and stand where you are.
Well, what are you doing with that gun?
I only hope you won't make it necessary for me to use it.
Johnny.
Open up that door, Durango. I want to see what you've got inside there. Go ahead now, open it.
Yeah. Now, look, son, there ain't no harm in what I'm doing in there.
No harm. That seems to be a pat phrase around here.
Well, it's just that ever since I made my pile, everywhere I'd go, I'd spend a lot of money.
So you told me at great length.
Always. Maybe it was sort of showing off a bit, but when I'd draw it out of the bank, I'd make them give me brand new money. You know, to impress the folks. Like a big shot up in Hartford where I pay my insurance for Carol here every year.
In brand new $100 bills, supposedly.
That's right, and no supposedly.
But this last insurance payment to Georgia.
Yeah, I know. But, Johnny, it wasn't my fault. The bank didn't have some nice new ones for me. And they couldn't get them in time either, so I had to... Well, this was the next best.
Oh, that's a likely
Johnny,
story.
please.
Open that door.
Oh, God, I kept hoping nobody'd find
Come on, open it.
Okay. There you are.
What under the...
That's the washing machine there. And that's the soap and plenty of strong bleach and the starch to make them nice and crisp.
Oh, no.
And that there's the ironing board where I press them out real nice and flat.
They'll never believe it.
But it does make them look real pretty and new. Honest, Johnny, I didn't think there was no harm in it.
Well, there you have it, George. Full report on the funny money.
Makes me want to give up, Chris, I tell you.
It turned out to be only cleaned up a bit. And the next time, call in the Secret Service, will you? No, I didn't mean that. Just don't question the charges on this account for the extra week I've spent out here. If you could see this pretty little Carol...
Just hope they do something.
That Carol. And if I ever get enough money, so help me, I think I'll retire to Bum-Spung, Oklahoma. Expense account total, including incidentals, and the trip back to Hartford, $171.25. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good.
Now, here is our star to tell you about...
Yeah, that's fine. This is looking pretty good. I like this. This is really, really cool. I like the antenna and steeple kind of on the top of the roof there. That's going to add a little bit of something special, that's for sure. I like it. I like it a lot. Just wondering if I should finish up here and keep going, or what I should do. Let's see. Should I keep going? Yeah, Chris, I'm wondering how I should go. It makes, like, when something like that happens, like, you keep your fingers crossed that hopefully they get the channel and gets them taken down. Listen, they were doing this to another old-time radio channel too, and then they reported him, and he did get stopped, but they were using his name and everything. They're using my channel, and then I don't know. It's just aggravating. Like I said, it almost makes me want to go private and just do everything in all of these streams on Patreon. You know, for $1, it's just our family. It's just all of us, able to do it ourselves. Listen ourselves, chat ourselves, see the streams ourselves. Only the people who are a $1 member, can see what's going on and see the overnight streams. I know that sounds harsh. I don't know. It shouldn't sound harsh. It's just annoying that I got to put up with it. And I've been getting tired of the whole affair to begin with. And I just don't know what to do. But I figured, these are things that have been going in my mind. I'm like, you know what? I could just stream these all on Patreon. I know nobody wants to pay even $1 to join Patreon or become a channel member and make it exclusive. But that's a way to ensure that, nobody's going to get the stuff that you make, the content and all of that. Honestly, so I don't know. I'm thinking really hard. Like I said, I don't even know how close are you to finishing it? Finish it or not? Technically, I got one more bag. So, I've got this little bit, probably about an hour, I would think. J.O.B. But I was thinking of maybe I'll finish later tonight off air and then do an in-depth review on filming everything and then just put up a video tomorrow. I don't know. But like there's a few people in here. Like if I just started doing everything on Patreon and for channel members for $1, would people do that? So that everything's exclusive to, not the public. I know that sounds stupid, but I don't care anymore about. I just care about the people who care about what I stream. You know what I mean? So it's like, is that something I should do? I'm just sitting here contemplating all this stuff, because I'm not even sure whether to do a stream or not tonight. I really am. That's how frustrated I am. And I know quite a few people have reported that channel. So, again, I'm going to hope for the best. And maybe I skip tonight doing a stream and hope that tomorrow they take this channel down and I kind of figure out what I'm going to do here. I don't know. I do like doing these streams live, and playing some old-time radio shows and stuff like that. But $500 back then for a new stove. She probably could have brought in a few with that much. Yeah, it's amazing how do what you need to do. Well, the thing is, Connie, I know that a very tiny portion of people will come along, even if it is for $1. But if you don't do a stream tonight, then keep streaming this build. Yeah, I mean, listen, I am still going. Let me, you know what? I'm going to play another show. Let me do how about another Johnny Dollar while I continue to do this. I got one more bag after this, and I'm getting close. So I think I can get it done by 10. So let's do the Felicity feline matter. How about that? Here we go. I don't want to keep talking and complaining. So there you go. Oh, what the heck. Sean Bond says, I know. Okay, Felicity feline matter. Here we go. One more while I finish this out.
From Hollywood, it's
Hopefully.
time now for Johnny Dollar.
Mr. Dollar, this is Henry Parker with Continental Assurance out in Reno.
Well, how are things in Nevada, Mr. Parker?
Terrible, sir, just terrible.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. What seems to be...
Excuse me, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah?
There's someone here who would like to speak with you.
Oh, who?
Give me that. Who do you suppose it is, you sloth-eyed Pinkerton?
Sounds to me like a cantankerous old character named Jodiah Gillis.
Cantankerous? Why, you miserable...
What are you doing in Reno, Mr. Gillis?
I tell you when you get here.
When I get... Oh, no, now, wait a minute.
I can't wait. If I do, he'll be dead and it'll be your fault.
Who?
A feline friend of mine.
A what?
Oh, being uncouth like you'd probably call him a cat.
Oh, no. Look, Jodiah.
Also, he's rich.
He's what?
Rich, yes, sir. Last week he inherited $60,000. This week somebody's making sure he won't live long enough to spend it.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
I know that, Connie, and I know you would, if I want to get things off my chest. 99.9% of people, no matter who they are, your friends, family, they don't want to hear about it. I understand that, and I completely understand. So me complaining does nothing to me. If I go ahead with the plans to just make it Patreon-only streams and only 6 to 10 people show up, and then it kind of tells me that maybe the years are over with for me. I don't know. There's a lot going on in my head the past months, and you know that. I've been saying that. That's why I've kind of switched over to this Lego stuff, which I'm really enjoying doing. I'm building here with you guys and doing that. So, but honestly, 99.9% don't want to hear my worries, and I don't want to have to say my worries and what I'm going through in life, personally, or anything, really. So it comes down to, do I want to let all of you guys go and move on? You know what I mean? Because I think that's what would end up happening, which would suck. But, it is what it is. And I would hate that. It's like losing a family member. I know that sounds stupid, but a lot of you guys have been here with me for, 4 or 5 years here, and it hurts. Why do you think I haven't stopped lately? You know what I mean? But it's getting to the point to where, I might have to make decisions that might end up meaning I end up, just stopping completely or something, or not completely. Listen, me and Dave Sundays, we're always going to do that, I think. I don't know. Dino needs a night in the Brookhaven Jazz Club. Good tunes. That would be fun. Shrink me down. Dino, remember, if you build it, they will come. Hashtag movie reference. Yes, J.O.B. Well, that's why I'm doing Lego now, too. So, it is. But, the rest of the stuff, somebody's taking everything. So, anyways, let me keep playing Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Continental Assurance Company, Reno, Nevada. The following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Felicity feline matter. Expense account item 1, $164 air transportation, Hartford to Reno. En route, I wondered again what Josiah Gillis was doing in Nevada. At Reno, he was on the flight deck waiting for my plane, and standing beside him, wearing a dark suit and expression to match, was a tall, cadaverous-looking gentleman. As I started down the ramp, Josiah began calling me.
Yeah, there he is. Dollar. Yoo-hoo. Hey, John.
Oh, hi. Afternoon, Josiah.
Well, you are a sight for sore eyes, boy. Yes, indeed, you are. Johnny, this is my friend and business associate, Henry Parker.
Mr. Parker?
Oh, I'm certainly glad you've arrived, sir.
That's so?
Yes, yes. Mr. Gillis has been quite concerned over Felicity.
Felicity?
The feline. What do you think you came out here for? Your help?
Well, no.
Yeah, then give Parker your checks.
My checks?
So what's the matter with you? The altitude affect your mind? Hand over your claim check so Parker can fetch your luggage.
Sure. Here.
Yeah. Go on, Parker. Go on. We haven't got all day.
Whatever you say, Mr. Gillis.
We'll be in the waiting room. You hurry up.
Yes, sir.
Now, come on, Dollar. Come on.
Josiah, before I left Hartford, I tried to check up on this Continental Assurance Company. Nobody ever heard of it.
A lot of things those white-bellied clerks in Hartford haven't heard of. But the fact is, Continental ain't exactly worldwide.
Oh?
In here. No, sir. It ain't nationwide either.
Well, just how wide is it?
Well, you know how far it is from Winnemucca to Black Butte?
No.
Good. It's just about that wide.
Oh. And Parker is one of their agents, huh?
Agents? Parker is the president of the Continental.
The president? But you just...
Well, you look peaked, boy. You better sit down.
Phew. Josiah, I shouldn't let the man that's paying my salary run after my bag.
Pish-tash. Here, take a look at this. It's my new business card. Yeah, go on, read it.
Josiah Gillis, chairman of the board, Continental. What?
Yes, sir.
But Floyd's of England has always carried your policy.
Carried, yes, past tense. I don't take guff from anybody, especially a ninny of an insurance agent telling me what I can insure and what I can't.
You had a fight with him?
Yep. My cousin Rachel, she's a sweet girl. She lives in the Belgian Congo. She sent me an African anteater. Now, all I wanted Floyd's to do was insure it for $15,000.
And of course they wouldn't.
Nope.
So you canceled all your policies and bought the controlling interest in Continental.
Same as anybody else would have done.
Oh, sure. And naturally, you insured this anteater.
Yeah, Archie. That was his name.
Was his name. What happened to him?
Well, it was a terrible thing, Johnny. Oh, it was just poor old Archie. He overindulged.
He did what?
Yeah, he overindulged. He found a house full of termites.
Oh.
Yes, finally died. Acute indigestion.
Too bad. But of course, Continental Assurance paid off.
And of course they paid off, and with a smile. Same as they paid off the $60,000 to my feline friend, Felicity.
What 60,000 to Felicity?
What do you think? The 60,000 Felicity inherited from Mrs. Hammermeyer.
And who is Mrs.
Was.
All right, was Mrs.
A
Hammelmeyer.
client of Henry Parker's. Had a life policy for 60,000. Felicity was the beneficiary.
But didn't she have any children or relatives?
She had one brother, a nephew, and a niece. Oh, of course, not counting Mrs. Hawkins, who was Mrs. Hammermeyer's best friend. You see, the two ladies lived together 15 years. Right now, Mrs. Hawkins has been appointed trustee to administer the 60 grand as Felicity needs.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you'll meet her as soon as we get settled.
Jediah, what makes you think someone's trying to kill that cat?
I don't think so. I know it. There have been 2 attempts in 2 weeks. You ask Mrs. Hawkins. She'll tell you.
Mr. Gillis, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, it's about time, Parker. Well, come on, Johnny, come on. We'll take you down to the Mapes.
The Mapes?
The Mapes Hotel. I'm staying there. And if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you.
The Mapes Hotel stands high above Virginia Street overlooking the Truckee River. After Gillis checked me in and introduced me to the owner, Mr. Charles Mapes, I unpacked and went with Jediah out to the old Hammelmeyer place where Felicity the cat, Mrs. Hawkins, and the relatives still live. We rang the old-fashioned doorbell and waited. In a moment, the door was opened by a pasty-faced man of about 28.
Yeah? Oh, Mr. Gillis.
Yes, afternoon, Oscar. Mrs. Hawkins in?
Ain't she always? Who's he?
He's a friend of mine who's also an insurance investigator.
An insurance?
Name's Johnny Dollar. Johnny, this is Oscar Emmett, the late Mrs. Hammermeyer's nephew.
Hi,
I suppose you're here about that lousy cat.
That's right.
Come on in. I'll tell the old lady you're here. You know where the living room is at, don't you, Mr.
Oh, indeed I do.
Oh, friendly sort of character.
Oscar's like the rest of the Emmets. They just can't stand seeing Felicity eat steak when they gotta have tuna casserole. In here, Dollar.
All right. Well, what kind of work does he do?
Work? Oh, Oscar, none of the Emmets work. No, sir.
Not even Mrs. Hammelmeyer's brother?
Emmett spends all his time in the gambling halls. You know, gambling's legal here.
He a professional?
Oh, no. He's got a slot machine route. He goes around poking his finger in the payoff trays, picking up the nickels and dimes that people overlook.
I see.
Yeah, let's sit down here.
Oh, what the hell?
Felicity!
That cat has claws.
Oh, you stepped on his tail, you stupid. Oh, tell him you're sorry, Dollar.
Well, I didn't know he was there.
Sorry, Felicity. Oh, the bad man didn't see you.
What's going on in here? Felicity, you get right down off that table. You hear me. Oh, you. Mr. Gillis, would you use your influence, please?
Well, I'll certainly try, Mrs. Hawkins. Felicity. Come on now, honey. That's a good kitty. There. Now.
I just put out a nice dish of scallops for him.
Oh, you hear that, Felicity? Scallops. Oh, yum. Sure. So you run along now. Bye-bye.
Oh, I do declare I've never seen a man who has such a way with animals.
Well,
And that goes for lonely widows, too, Mr. Gillis.
Oh, now, Leona, stop.
Jediah.
Oh, yeah. Mrs. Hawkins.
Leona is just fine.
Yeah, well, this is the young fellow I was telling you about, Johnny Dollar.
Oh, well, this is indeed a pleasure, Mr. Dollar. Jediah told me so much about you.
Oh, is that so?
You're much more handsome than I imagined, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, now, good gravy, Leona. Now, you just tell him what's been going on around here.
You mean about Felicity?
That's what I mean.
Well, somebody's after him. Trying to kill him.
Tell me, has an actual attempt been made on his life?
Wednesday night a week ago. I let him out just before I went to bed like always. He'd been out about an hour when it started to pour. And knowing Felicity hates to get wet, I opened the front door to call him. Well, just as he was crossing the street, I heard this big car start up, and it zoomed straight for Felicity. Whoever was driving it almost turned over, trying to hit him.
You didn't get a good look at the driver, huh?
I didn't get any kind of a look. It was too dark.
What about the car? What make was it?
If I knew that, I'd have already told you that. I haven't any secrets from him.
Tell him about last Thursday, Leona.
Felicity was poisoned. That's what the vet said. Somebody put arsenic in his lobster.
Lobster?
Oh, yes, he just loves it. According to the instructions Mrs. Hammelmeyer left, he's to have lobster once a week, steak 3 times, and boiled chicken every Sunday.
I see.
Yes. And as long as I take care of him and obey her instructions, I can live here rent-free, same as her kin, the Emmets.
Uh-huh.
Same as them.
Mr. Gillis, just who gets Felicity's money in case he dies? The Emmett family?
We aren't sure.
Oh, why's that?
Because Mrs. Hammermeyer left a sealed envelope to be opened only in the event of Felicity's death.
Oh, the Emmets will get all that's left, Mr. Dollar, I'm sure of it.
No, Leon. You mustn't look on the dark side.
Well, I did rub Mildred, Mrs. Hammelmeyer's back and bunions for a good many years. Did her marketing, so she got her medicine on time. I do hope she appreciated it.
She did, Leon. You see.
You dear, sweet man.
Hello? Anybody home?
Where is everybody? We're in the living room.
Yes, I figured they'd start flocking in. Now it's dinner time. Dollar.
Yeah?
It's Joyce Emmett, the niece. She hates cats. Told me so herself.
Oh.
Well, evening, Mrs. Hawkins.
Do I have time to take a shower before dinner? Oh, I didn't know he had company.
Mr. Emmett, Joyce, you both know Mr. Gillis.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Gillis.
Terrible.
And this is Mr. Johnny Dollar. He's investigating the trouble we've had about Felicity.
After the would-be cat killer, huh, Johnny?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll lay 8 to 5 you never catch him.
Or her.
Sean, just check out the community tab. I posted the channel that's taken all of my stuff and posting it on their own channel. It's called The Late Horror Show. It's there. The link's there. They're taking like Astro Village, Johnny Ryder. I know that old time radio shows are public domain, but he actually called it, and he's got the Late Horror Show in the description. This guy's been going around to other channels and doing the same thing. He finally got to mine and hit mine. And yeah, he's taken everything. All my stuff I wrote for like the Clue Club and all that, all going up on his channel. So listen, he's got 17 subscribers and very little views, a couple. Is it nothing to worry about? But I mean, if he puts all of my stuff up eventually, you know what I mean, and then get some, yeah. So you got to stop somebody like that that's doing that. But anyways, that's what's going on. You report them, and you just wait and see what YouTube does. What more can I do? I sent them a message on Twitter and everything else. But I'm putting a bakery set together here, so I'm having fun. It's doing good. Almost done.
Could be a woman, you know.
Oh, yes. It most certainly could. Why, Joyce, the way you say that, you act as if you want Mr. Dollar to start investigating you.
Maybe I do. How about it, Johnny?
Well, how do you feel about Felicity, Miss
The
Hammond?
same as everyone else in this house. Aunt Mildred had no business leaving all her money to that creeping night crawler.
Joyce.
Well, he is.
Mr. Dollar, just what interest do you have in Felicity? He isn't insured.
Mr. Gillis sent for me, Mr. Emmett.
He did?
Yes, I did. Continental has a moral responsibility to see that the funds handed over to widows, children, and dumb animals are protected from swindlers, connivers, and blackguards, of which I'm sure this house has many.
Why, you pompous, wrinkled old Romeo.
Joyce, please, if you can't hold your tongue, leave the room.
Well, what I said is the truth. Man his age getting romantic.
You wait, girl. 30 years from now, you'll be mighty glad men my age can get romantic.
That's telling it.
Mr. Emmett. Mr. Emmett, do you share your daughter's opinion of Felicity?
Why, of course I do. I'm a dog man. Besides, I can't see why she left all that money to the critter. Mrs. Hawkins has figured up what it costs to keep him like a king every week.
Yes, $23. Maybe a trifle more by the time I get him out of the pretty kitty.
The pretty kitty?
Well, it's a beauty parlor for cats. Felicity has a standing appointment there every Friday at 1.
Oh, no.
$23 a week. You know how many weeks it'll take him to spend that $60,000, not counting the interest that'll add up while he's doing it?
No, not exactly. No,
2,600 weeks. 50 years. And believe me, the odds of any cat living to be 50 years old, well...
I'll lay you 10 to 1 he doesn't live another 6 months.
Joyce.
Oh, speak of the devil.
Well, hello there, Felicity. Oh, did you know we were talking about you?
Did you finish up all your dinner, Felicity? He sometimes doesn't eat all his scallops. Last week I gave them to Oscar.
Oh, it's disgusting. Well, look at him. He thinks he owns us.
What do you mean, thinks? Huh.
few minutes later, Jodiah drove me back to the Mapes. Whether it was the Emmets or Mrs. Hawkins who wanted Felicity out of the way, I didn't know. But I did know we should get him out of that house as soon as possible. I changed my clothes, met Jodiah and his friend Charlie Mapes in the Skyrim for dinner, did a bit of gambling, then went to bed. Must have been about 3:30 when the phone rang.
Hello? Oh, Dollar, please.
Oh, come on.
Who is it?
Mrs. Hawkins, I tried to get Mr. Gillis, but he left word he wasn't to be disturbed.
Oh, well, what is it, Mrs. Hawkins? What's wrong?
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's just terrible.
What is it? What's happened?
Felicity,
Felicity, what?
I let him out about 10, but he's disappeared. Mr. Dollar, I know he's been killed.
Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
Anyone who has survived the rigors of basic training is familiar with a great variety of milk that is dished out periodically in the armed forces. Now, there's frozen milk, concentrated milk, frozen concentrate, and good old powdered milk. But sometimes supplying wholesome, fresh, real milk has been a problem when servicemen have been stationed in out-of-the-way places. The United States Air Force came across that problem some time ago in the island of Terceira in the Azores, those Portuguese islands that dot an eastern portion of the Atlantic Ocean. The air base there was considered powdered milk country for a long time. Although cattle have played an important role in the economy of the island of Terceira, the herd was badly inbred and milk production was very low. Modern milk processing was not a part of the picture. And with the help of Portuguese veterinarians, the men in the United States Air Force unit worked out a free breeding service by using a small herd of milk cows acquired in England, and the cattle there at Terceira improved. Then, a complete pasteurizing, homogenizing, sterilizing, bottling, refrigeration plant was flown in from the United States. As soon as this activity got underway, milk production began to climb steadily, and thirsty Air Force men and civilians were soon buying and drinking the new fresh milk. When economy of the island began to rise rapidly, the people were happy and grateful. You might say that a little milk of human kindness increased understanding on an island of freedom, the right of all men everywhere.
And now, Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Felicity feline matter.
A few minutes later, Jodiah Gillis and I were at the old Hammelmeyer home. Joyce and her father, along with Mrs. Hawkins, were waiting for us. Oscar Emmett was nowhere to be found.
He's the one, Johnny. Yes, sir, that shifty critter, that Oscar. He stole Felicity and is going to do him in. Ah, that poor Felicity.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Mr. Gillis, pull yourself together.
Oscar could be downtown having a run of luck, Mr. Dollar.
Well, if he's gambling this time of night, he shouldn't be too hard to find. Mrs. Hawkins.
Yes.
When did you first...
Oh, geez, I had my microphone on. Anyway, sorry. You're probably trying to listen, and I'm like going, hey, Night Fright Talk Show. What's going on, you guys? This is going to take probably another hour. So I'm trying to figure out. I've got this much of the roof done for the bakery, which this is going to look really sweet. I got another big part to it still. This is probably going to take an hour, really. It is 9:38. Man, I just keep wondering, do I stream overnight tonight? Let's see, what should I do? Nothing back from YouTube yet. I think what I might do, let's see. Oh, I'm so perplexed. That was kind of cool, the mic on. Oh, really? Listening to all the... Well, somebody said do ASMR where you everything's quiet, and you could hear everything. But I figured play some old time radio shows, right? But hey, Andrea. Oh boy, I'm just trying to think of what I should do here. Should I stop and start up a stream for overnight and finish this off tomorrow? Is that what I should do? And at least until I figure out if I'm going to switch over to just all Patreon. If YouTube comes back and says, tomorrow that they got it, then maybe I won't do that. I don't know, but if you do an overnight, though, up on an older stream. No, I got one set up already. Yeah, let me end this. Stream number 3 of the Bakery Pantasy set. This is going to take another hour. I think I will finish it off tomorrow, and I will do an in-depth coverage of the inside and a review and all that stuff of this. So I guess in about 20 minutes, I will start up a stream, and I'll have a lot to think over tonight. If I really want to go ahead and do that on Patreon and channel members. If I do it that way, I mean, it opens up the door, really. It'll be a very much a smaller group, but I think may end up being a lot more fun in ways. But then I understand that there's people like Steerpike and other people who may not end up being on there and stuff. I don't know. It's a tough decision. But I'm 5 years into the OTR. I'm 9 years on YouTube. And the stuff that's happening now is just, again, it's got me very aggravated and everything else. But anyways, Pantasy Bakery, I'm going to end the stream now. I will finish this off tomorrow. We are almost there. If you can kind of see how this looks. Looks really, really good. So much love to each and every one of you, as always. You guys know that. Sorry I cut off Johnny Dollar, but we've heard the Felicity feline matter a million times, right? So I'm just going to end it there. And